Since 2018, the Lindale Football Eagles have graced their school and community with 4 straight visits to the postseason, which includes their first ever trip to the 4A state championship game in Arlington just 2 years ago, averaging almost 10 wins a year in the same span. This year's Eagles are riding behind one of the most experienced and strongest offensive lines in the state, expecting to protect one of the deepest collection of running backs in District 9 4A, along with a heavy dose of defensive weapons and D-line play stoppers. From a year ago, the 2022 Lindale Eagles have loaded themselves with high expectations and a will to attack each week head-on. OnTheCall.net presents the 2022 Lindale Eagles and District 9 4A High School Football. Tonight's game broadcast is made possible by the generosity and outstanding community support from Alford's Tire, Brake and Alignment. For tires, brakes, alignment, and accessories, don't put your safety at risk. Beeler Roofing, residential and commercial roofing and repairs for over 40 years. Office Barn, celebrating 22 years as East Texas' only new and used office furniture superstore. Marucci Elite East Texas, coaching up thousands of baseball and softball athletes of all ages to the next level. Frieden Enterprises and Ironworks Freelance Web Design, making it simple for customers to know you. Rose City Air, honestly educating their customers on the most efficient way to maintain their HVAC systems. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, serving the highest quality barbecue with backyard hospitality. Come for the food, stay for the experience. Eagle Chiropractic, Dr. Shane Allen, making you stronger every day by adding years to life and life to years. Doc Deason, Real Edge Real Estate, creating new home dreams for families for over 17 years. And Root Construction, providing custom construction solutions through integrity-based principles and follow-through. Let's head down to the Root Construction press box for tonight's broadcast with Kenny Smith, Coach Alan Phillips, and Stuart Campion.
Well, it was a week of preparation that was unlike any other for the Lindale Eagles this past week, coming off a devastating hit to their defense and special teams in a 79-45 loss to Chapel Hill a week ago. So for the first time in a long time, the Lindale Eagles regrouping after back-to-back losses will try to do so in what's going to turn out to be a playoff positioning, incredibly important game tonight as Coach Lance Angel and the Palestine Wildcats come to Eagle Stadium tonight. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Friday Night Heroes on a great place atop Eagle Stadium tonight, as the band is actually on the field right now doing some pregame warm-ups and entertaining the home crowd as of right now. We will come back. We'll talk to Coach Coach Cochran. He will talk about how quickly they turned this thing around when they did it actually post-game a week ago. Alan Phillips, a lot of experience in doing this very thing, will tell us exactly how this coaching staff does just that and gets this team back on track when we come back. Your Lindale Eagle football broadcast coming up next, brought to you by so many great sponsors we'll be talking about throughout the evening tonight, and Coach Coach Cochran and Pregame coming next with OnTheCall.net.
If you're looking to advance and improve your baseball or softball skills and overall game with the hopes of moving on to the next level, Marucci Elite East Texas is the premier select organization to do just that. Hi folks, I'm Derek Kraft, current minor league pitcher for the New York Yankees and coach for Marucci Elite. Head coaches Mike Holichuk and Jeff Casey take over 35 years of coaching experience to the field each year, showcasing East Texas's finest baseball and softball talent. Marucci Elite East Texas has proven itself to be the best at directly focusing on player development and the recruitment of its athletes. You can follow them anytime and learn more about Marucci Elite East Texas through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at METXETX. That's METXETX for Marucci Elite East Texas.
Well, the last home game of the season, I'm always curious from a coaching stance if it feels different as the last home game. I guess a couple of years ago, when the rule changed where you win your district and you get the chance to host a home field playoff game, it's completely different. We're in a different position this year, Chris. But at the same time, final home game tonight against Palestine, is there any psychological or anything different for you guys as a coaching staff every year? There are coaches that may want to do something else, go somewhere else, or may have the resume to where they want to move somewhere else. Does any of that ever play into factor? Last home game, home fans in the stands, it's going to be packed, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It really doesn't. I mean, it's really been business as usual, and coming off of last week, it's just been, hey, this is a big one, it's a big game. Now we haven't tried to make it, too big for our kids. We always say it's a big one because it's the next one, and that is true, but we've kind of got ourselves backed into a corner a little bit, and a little bit different than I think most of us would have guessed or bet on. We didn't think that we would have lost the last two, So now we're backed into a corner, and really that's what it's been about. I don't think that there's anybody – I know that it figures in, everybody thinks, oh, this is the last one, but at the same time, it's a football game, and we are looking to play a lot more, beyond just this one, So we're excited about the new opportunity, and, glad that, this Friday finally got here, to be honest with you.
Okay, I watched the game film that I got a chance to see. There was hardly anybody that's faced Chapel Hill yet this year, take away their, game 2 in their schedule, that could tackle anybody that they handed the football to. Brisbane didn't run quite as much Friday night as we thought he probably would, but, Tyler was hard to tackle. Every game film I watched was hard to tackle. You guys had the same difficulty you had Friday night. Was there anything you were able to take from that positively? Because we did see you guys a lot late in the game, realizing, we're out of this now. Now we got to start coaching and teaching as the game was going along. How'd the guys take it after the game? It was emotional, pretty darn intense later on in the game. And how did you as a coaching staff, how did y'all handle that loss?
It was one of those things that first and foremost, it's 100% on Coach Cochran as the head football coach. I can say without a doubt that I didn't have the guys that I'm responsible for, I didn't have them ready to play. And so it starts with me and ends with me. We just felt like going in that we were going to play harder, that we were going to be more physical, and we assumed that was going to happen just because of what happened the last 3 times we played them and what we had seen on film. We were going off of all of that, but it was lightning in a bottle for them. They were very much so ready to play, and we weren't, at least defensively and on special teams. And so I felt like our offense did some good things as far as taking good from it. Our offense did some good stuff, 500-something yards of total offense and, 40 however many points. I mean, that should be enough to win the game, if I'm being honest. So we were in position to make plays. We didn't make them. They are. You're exactly right. They're really good football players. And they've been good football players in the years past, and so we just felt like, as we watched the film, defensively and on special teams, we had some guys that missed some tackles. We had some guys out of lanes on the kickoff. We just didn't play well, and the entire 4 quarters, I just knew we aren't ready to play, and that falls square on my shoulders. And so, yes, there are a bunch of lessons that we can learn from it, football, more importantly, life. I hope that what these young men have seen in me since Friday night, Saturday morning, and then Monday when they showed up on Monday morning, just how a man should handle, some adversity. And it isn't by pointing the fingers at somebody else. If you're responsible for it, then you need to take responsibility, but also there's a time that there needs to be some confidence breathed in, the people that you're responsible for. And so on Monday morning, and as they left on Saturday, that's what we tried to do. So it's been business as usual. I mean, we've continued with our plan. I think our plan is good. I think, having them up here on Saturday morning is good. I think, Monday morning we didn't have school. So on Monday morning they were here at 8 o'clock, and there was not a word talked about the past week. And just because it's over, it literally is over. We aren't getting anything from it except maybe our young men doubting themselves, which they don't need to doubt themselves because they're really good football players. So this is still the same football team that everybody was very impressed with on September the 16th when we played Gilmer, and so that was not what we wanted, and I'll go back to that. That was not a win, but we're a good football team. We just got to get a little confidence back when it's time to make plays. We got to make some plays.
Is there a philosophy change for you guys? You are in a position, you got to win out. You got to win these last two to get decent positioning for the postseason. Me doing my job, I don't even like talking about it because being a former player too, you just don't. You look at the bridge that's in front of you, not the one that's beyond it. But at the same time, you guys understand the importance and things. How do y'all know that the kids understand that, that you can't have another game like you had last Friday where you do underperform or go below your standards from what you had weeks before? How do y'all control that, man? How do y'all be able to get that across to these guys?
That's a really good question. We try not to. It's a very fine line, which is why it's a good question. You don't want to talk about it to add pressure to them, but they have to understand, and I said this to them on Saturday, just in speaking generally, when you're backed into a corner, there's really two options for a puppy, or maybe a dog in general, maybe not a puppy, I don't know. You have the option of, lack of a better term, you can pee down your leg, and crumble and just crater into that corner, or you can come out with your teeth showing and you can fight and claw and scratch, and that's what men do. That's what champions do. And we talked a lot about that. We talked about the man in the arena, and that's a Teddy Roosevelt, little paragraph that Teddy Roosevelt talked. We've used some John Gordon stuff, just how if you want to win, you got to be positive, and I've talked to our coaches about that. It's funny because I just put last week, I put that on every coach's desk. Winning comes from positivity, and it doesn't come from negative. And so it's just one of those things that I think you got to keep on doing what you're doing. You got to let them know that there is some, this is important. This is a big one, without saying that a whole lot, and just, hey, go back to work, trust the process, trust what we're doing. We know that our plan is good. It's been good before. It'll continue to be good, but you have to make some adaptations to it as well, and I've fed off of our players too. We sat in there in the locker room on Saturday, and I asked them, hey, what can I do better? Give me something. Well, they don't really. They're kids. They don't want to tell coach what he's not doing very good. Yeah. But, they gave me some ideas of, maybe how to break up the monotony. And I think some of it has to do with, we haven't had a bye week. And so everybody's a little bit, tired. And we knew that. And we tried to pull back. So there's a good bit of stuff that we made some changes with this week, whether it was the change in the music playing in practice or, just, breaking up, practice just in a different way. Will Hutchins gave, some great advice on, Coach, I really don't want to, I don't think we need to know when everything is happening. Just basically just throw it at us and see how we handle it. So we've done that this week, so just little things here and there, and they know, they show up, they work. I think they understand that this one's an important one.
Yeah. Will Hutchins, Sam Houston State University commit. For those who didn't already know, we haven't spoken about that very much, but okay, let's get to the football game. First of all, let's talk about your call-ups, because you've got a few guys you've added to the roster, and talk about the kids you've got they're going to maybe get some playing time tonight.
Yeah, so we kind of had it on the back of our brain a little bit that guys like Aiden Warnell and Christian Petway and Caleb Hart, those are the three that were moving up. But towards the end of their JV season. We didn't know exactly when, but towards the end of their JV season, it would be good to get them up and get them playing and adding some depth. We were hoping we could do that towards the end of the season, which worked out compared to the middle of the season, because of injuries and stuff. So it's been good. We've been able to let them play a bunch of JV snaps, which is awesome. Palestine doesn't have a JV team this week. So it really worked out, for those guys to come up and play with us this week, and we'll see how it goes as far as next week. I could totally see, all of them, all three of them just staying up, So really good football players. Our JV right now is 7-1. And those three have a lot to do with that. They're a really good group. The JV is, there's about 42 to 45 of them. They've worked really hard. They do a great job on our scout team. But they're led by those three guys, on Thursday nights. And so, we're excited about it. Aiden's going to play DB for us, and he's going to play. He's going to be on some special teams. I think he's a starter on punt and kickoff. Caleb Hart's going to play some running back. He'll be on some special teams. And then Christian really could play either side of the offensive line as a backup. So we're excited about all three of them. They're good football players.
Okay, it's going to be a little bit different tonight because it's tough when coaches that are friends, and especially those guys that are, as Lance Angel's got a long-time reputation. He's just a nice guy, and he's a good football coach, but he's just a fun man to be around. Palestine coming in here, they're bringing a little bit different twist because that wing tee is so much fun to watch, but it's hard to adjust to from a team standpoint. Talk about what Palestine does tonight, and how much more difficult is it when you have to coach against one of the guys you really like?
Yeah, I love Coach Angel. He's one of my favorites that we go against in the 10 games that we have somebody across the field. They're all good guys and care about kids, but Coach Angel is awesome and does a really good job. I told him earlier in the week, it's early in the season. It didn't look great for him, and just talking to him on the phone, I could tell that he was trying to figure his team out. But they're getting things rolling right now. They were trying to kind of do two different offenses, but once he's got back into this, his bread basket, his wing tee bread basket, they've been scoring some points, and so he's done a really good job. They're going to line up and smash mouth you. Their offensive line's really good. They got several guys that they can give the ball to that towed it well, and we actually faced some of those guys last year, and we were scared of them then, So there's just athletes all over the place on the offensive side and defensive side. Good-looking big bodies on the defensive line and linebacker, and then their skill guys everywhere can just run and jump, so they make it tough, but we've got a tough test for us, and that's what we want, honestly.
Okay. As a coach, do you get bewildered a lot of times just watching the wing tee? Because it really is a lot of fun. If you don't get a chance to see it very often, it's entertaining to watch.
It is, and it's funny because when I was in high school, that's what we ran. Yeah. So I do like watching it, and you don't get to see it a lot. So, this week when you're watching it on film, it's like kind of brings back some old memories, and they run it well. You can tell he does a good job coaching it because they run it well, and he does they just you can see the progress that they made, when they were playing earlier on in the year against like Livingston, compared to how they're playing against Jacksonville this past week and putting up 55 points. It's an impressive thing.
Okay. Good luck tonight, man. I know it's going to be a little fun. Final home game. Lance Angel across the way. So have fun tonight, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Coach Chris Cochran. Alan Phillips will be along next. Our pregame show continues. It's Lindale Palestine night tonight. Coming next with OnTheCall.net.
A showroom almost as big as a football field. Really? Office Barn in Tyler.
A ridiculous amount of inventory at Office Barn. New and gently used office furniture.
More desks than the Pentagon.
Any style of desk imaginable. Desk as low as as $50.
Office chairs.
Over 1,000 chairs in stock of all kinds from $20 to $2,000.
Conference room tables.
Biggest selection of new and used conference tables we've had in a long time.
Low cubicle prices.
Really stylish cubicles and workstations with space planning, delivery, and install.
Office Barn in Tyler.
We ship anywhere with next day delivery in East Texas. Buy it in the box and save even more. Discounts for nonprofits, veterans, and first responders.
Between Tyler and Lindale on Highway 69. Across from the big American flag.
Call or text us. It's the same number, 903-881-0340.
Office Barn in Tyler.
Office Barn.
All right, now we're going to get back into live action now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Eagle Stadium. We're still trying to get organized up here, as we just found out our crowd mic is probably in a bad spot. So we're going to cut it off because Alan and I got to talk about pregame. First of all, AP, we got a substitute in today. Stuart Campion is out of town for a family wedding, so the old pro Dusty Swope is in the midst of Alan Phillips' greatness. You got a chance to, I think, coach Dusty at one time, did you not?
I didn't get to. He graduated before I.
Okay.
Yeah, he graduated the.
That's right, in '99.
Yes, and then
same
I
year
came
we were
in,
talking.
Yes, I came in the fall of '99.
Okay, well,
but I've known him since then
for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a cool home week for us here, and also the final home game for the Lindale Eagles, and we're going to get right into that. And as we talk to Chris Cochran pregame too, Alan, and you and I have been talking in extension about moving forward after what happened to Lindale a week ago. It was horrible to watch on one end because when you're trying to broadcast for your football team, you want it to be a success all the time. And you've been in those shoes, Alan, where you just get on the field, and after a few minutes you realize this team is incredibly good, and they're faster than us, they're quicker than us, and right now we're having trouble tackling. And it got to a point to where you even made mention right after halftime that they had to make a psychological transition with this football team. Take us kind of back in that huddle and figure out how quick do they need to, or what are the processes for a coaching staff to try to get a team away from giving up 79 points to their rival.
Well, you don't want to, and Coach Cochran said this in there, you don't want to dwell on the bad. Positivity is the most important thing that you can have. And I'm going to tell you what, like you said, I've been a part of some games that got away, and just to keep hammering it to those kids, you got to realize those kids are on the field, they're playing it. They're the ones that know what's going on out there, and what you do is use it as a teaching point, but then you got to get away from it. You got to let it go, and you can't forget it, but yet you do not dwell on it, and you move on to the next situation, or you lose your kids. You don't want to lose your kids.
Okay. What do they have to do? What's the transition? You got a chance to talk to Coach Rozelle because two phases of this football team, and you made mention post-game last week, their offense played pretty darn well. They moved the game. They had 3 drives there in the second half that could have beat anybody. Defense and special teams, it was a total and complete breakdown. What is your first step as far as defensively? How did Rozelle take about, your discussion before the game?
Well, Coach Rozelle, he and I were talking about the whole situation last week, and I told him right up front, I said, Coach, they're faster than you are. And he said, yeah, and he's a typical DC. He didn't like it. They scored so much on him. And as a DC, you feel like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. Sure. But I'm going to tell you, in watching those guys last week, they would be there to make some tackles, and then all of a sudden, boom, there went the speed, and they ran right past them, and they couldn't catch them. And unfortunately, you can't teach speed.
Yeah.
You just got to try to keep it contained so you can get to it to make the tackle. Lindale was just out. I asked you, speeded or word? Because they were out-speeded last week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this, they're not happy about their defense, but I'm telling you what, the week before that you saw a combination of speed, not like Chapel Hill, but speed and strength with Kilgore. And then last week you just saw straight-out speed. I'm telling you, I've never seen a team with that much speed that anytime they touch the ball, they can go the distance. And so it's real important that you take time during that game and quit chewing on those kids, and you start loving them and teaching them. And you remember during the game, I told you.
We saw evidence of that by 2 or 3 different coaches.
I said, look down there.
Sure.
And they had his arm. I think Coach Rozelle had his arm around some kid talking to him.
Yeah.
And that did a lot more than chewing on his rear because they're getting beat. And sometimes his coaches, well, I'll say the bad coaches, they dwell on that it's not their fault. These guys are not. I'm telling you what. These guys are not this way.
Yeah.
Lindale, it was very much on their mind as the defensive staff that they have to do a better job.
Well, even before Chris and I sat down on Wednesday, which is when we get a chance to visit and talk football and stuff, Chris was very adamant about, and it was even before I turned the recorder on, is he was very adamant about, I think his exact words to the kids were, this is the most ashamed and embarrassed I've ever been at a loss. And Chris said candidly, but it's not about anybody in this room, talking to his team in the locker room. This is post-game. He said, this is completely on me. He said, I took some things for granted, about this team, and I thought you guys would take these things on your own. And he said, that's on me. Because even though you've got your strengths in practice, Alan, you still got to have that day where you go over those strengths and you reiterate those. Chris honed up to, you know what, I didn't do that. I thought we had moved into that different phase, and he said, I got to be better prepared. I got to have my guys ready to play.
Well, I can't see Coach Cochran not doing his job. In his eyes, he probably didn't do that enough, but I'll guarantee he did some of that stuff. It's just that, you're going into a game, you go over what they're going to be doing. You teach them what to do. He probably, went over those things, but he didn't dwell on them because he thought the kids were ready to do that. You get to a point in the season, and you got to think your kids, are going to be able to adjust and know what they need to do.
Sure.
And so I know he did talk about those things, but you know what? A sign of a good leader is when you take the blame yourself.
Yep.
I read one time, and if you win a game, players did it. Okay. If you lose a game, it's the coaches.
Sure.
That's how it's got to be. It can never be the player's fault that they lose.
And if anybody wants to question the speed and if they could match up or so, okay, Ryan Stanton only had 7 tackles a week ago.
Yes, and he's been eating it up.
And this guy is on every side of the field, every corner of the field. So top 2 tacklers for Lindale, Ryan Stanton, Wyatt Parker, both had less than 10 tackles, and it's very unusual for both these guys.
And I'll say this about their defense. They're not a defensive superstars. They don't have the 4-1, 4-2, 4-3 guy that plays safety and chase everybody down. I do not see speedsters on Lindale's football team, but what they are, a bunch of kids that play hard, get after it, and try as hard as they can. And sometimes that, and I hate to say this, it's just not enough when you run into the wrong team.
Yep. Let's go to the field for our national anthem tonight, everybody. Unfortunately, our crowd mic is over here, not over here. Barely hear it. Well, the Lindale Eagles coming in tonight at 4-4, 2-2, and District 9 4A play, and Palestine right now at 1-2. And the one question I did not get a chance to ask Lance Angel is why he only had 9 games on his schedule. They had 2 off weeks, and still unclear as to why, as the Palestine Wildcats did not play a game between Friday, September 9th and the 23rd, and they did not have a game between the September 30th and October 14th. They have 2 games remaining after this one, as they will be home against Henderson and then at Athens to finish out the year. Lindale Eagles are in a different spot as well, as they have got 1 game left. They will be at Jacksonville next Friday to finish out their regular season schedule, as this year they had 10 straight with no off week, no bye week for Lindale for the first time. And I think Coach Chris Cochran had said as long back as he can remember as of right now. But both of these teams in a situation right now with Lindale at 2-2, Palestine at 1-2 right now, where they have worked their way into a must-win situation. Lindale has got to win out these final 2 games against Palestine tonight and Jacksonville to take home that 3rd place finish in District 9 4A with losses to top 2 teams in Kilgore and Chapel Hill. And Alan, that's obviously looking like a district championship on the way next week between Kilgore and Chapel Hill. Will be a heck of a game. I think there's going to be a few hundred people at that game probably.
That would be a fun game to watch, because Kilgore does have the speed to combat that speed of Chapel Hill.
Well, Palestine wins the toss. They've elected to receive, and they're going to defend. They're going to be defending towards the east end zone. Lindale will be going left to right. They're going to be wearing their blue tops, blue pants, white numerals, white helmets. Palestine coming in their road whites, tops and bottoms with the maroon numerals. Palestine coming in primary numbers or colors are maroon and white. There are times we've seen them in black pants, but they will be wearing white tops and bottoms tonight, and they'll be going right to left right now. Return coming back to as kick return, and they're starting 5. They're starting 11, of course. Their kick returner and punt returner, the same guy as Tejon Wilson, one of the top athletes according to Coach Lance Angel. And we've got to do a shout-out to Lance Angel also before we get too far into this. Lance Angel now moving into number 2 on the total wins list in Palestine high school football history. Congratulations to Lance. As Chris Cochran alluded to in pregame, Lance is one of the most respected and most liked coaches in the state of Texas, as this man has always got a pleasant attitude, very positive reinforcement in his character and his upbringing, not only with a father that was a coach for an awful long time, but also Lance has been able to carry that into a pretty darn successful high school football career in his own right. Lindale Eagles and Seth Baggett will tee it up at the 40-yard line. Your officials tonight out of the Tyler chapter, referee Jerry Maynard, umpire is going to be Ephraim Rodriguez, Jonathan Galt is your head line judge. Line judge is going to be Michael Howard, and Zay Green, your back judge tonight. As final home game for the Lindale Eagles, they've already got playoff games scheduled here post-game or postseason. Kick is going to be short, hits at the 26-yard line, and scrambling to pick it up, and Palestine will pick it up. They tackled the wrong guy, and for some reason there was a little bit of confusion with the Palestine returners as 2 different players, Elijah Walker and Kamari Gibson, and Lindale kick team didn't know who had the football, and they almost missed the guy that had the ball. Kamari Gibson picks up about 8 yards on the return.
Well, thanks goodness for Wyatt Parker, because he did see the guy with the ball, and he's the one that made the tackle.
Well, they'll break it out with quarterback. Your quarterback tonight, Hudson Deere, who is a three-sport athlete. Hudson Deere, your backups will be Elijah Walker, Caden Patton, and Tejon Wilson, as this wing T offense will start up. Deep pitch going to go to Walker in the backfield, 30-35, breaking it outside, trying to arm tackle, and a whip out of bounds, and a great tackle on the outside by Christian Weidman.
Yeah, Palestine that time, they overloaded to the right side of the field, the left side of Lindale. And, in fact, the running back, the one they were going to toss the ball to, was over the tackle. So they were going to the left automatically, and that's what it was, a power toss sweep that way.
Well, Tejon Watson, he is the leading carrier on this football team. We'll take a look. Wilson, 60 carries, 417 yards on the ground. He's averaging 7 yards a carry. And 4 touchdowns on the season. Dual setbacks now. Deere, the man under at the 43-yard line. 2nd and 2. Handoff coming wide side. Got a big hole and hit in the backfield. An ankle tackle. Breaks the tackle. 45. First down Palestine. And a broken tackle. As looks like Walker may have been back here. It's Hudson LeGros with the missed tackle back at the 42.
Now, Palestine's running the wing T, which can be, and really that was a tight wing over. But it can be a pretty thing, because what they try to do is they try to seal it off to the inside, kick out that force man and get it into a little lane that they can run to. Lindale played that perfectly. Hudson LeGros was right there to make the tackle, was hanging on to his feet and just couldn't hang on for help.
Well, Palestine got their first down now with a 10:51 to go in the first quarter. But, boy, great play. LeGros had the play made in the backfield. Dual setbacks. Split backfield. Deere, the man under, deep pitch, going to go this time back at the 45 to the 50, and breaking the tackle and plunk it in on the tackle over at midfield. That time carry is going to be taken by Walker, as Elijah Walker, probably one of the top 2 athletes on this football team. Walker and Wilson will be trading out carries tonight. He picks up only 2 up to the 49-yard line of the Eagles.
Man, we're seeing all kinds of things from Palestine. That time they did tackle over, wing in tight to the left side. I mean, they just overloading that line on the left and running the toss sweep.
Gabe Hart, Carson Plunkett back and forth around the nose guard. Corey Watts, Christian King, your 2 tackles inside. We'll look over the defense second. Deere hands off, straight ahead. Walker, big pickup across the 45 right at the first down marker. They're going to move the chains right at the 41-yard line. And that right there, Alan, is the play that blows defenses up as Deere turns, and as he is whipping the football around, hands off to the first guy, goes through. A lot of times you don't even know who has the ball.
Yeah, it's called a trap play. And what happens, they pull a guard and basically leave a defensive lineman open, and they hit him with nobody touching him. If the linebackers over-pursue those running backs, they're going to leave a lane right up the middle. Thank goodness Joe Richard was able to go down with that guard and make the tackle.
Well, Jake Curbo, Wyatt Parker, Ryan Stanton, your linebackers. Handoff right up the middle off the right tackle, breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and again getting big yardage is going to be Elijah Walker. Walker picks up 5 on that carry, give him about 5.5. He's all the way up to the 36-yard line of Lindale. Eagles defense right now giving them a little bit too much in the middle of the field.
Well, they had to change their defense some because you cannot play the wing T very well in that 3-3 stack. You have to make some changes, and that's what Coach Rozelle told me that they were doing. They were going to have a forefront and moving some people over, putting Jake Curbo in some different spot. One thing about the wing T, it runs down a lot of the clock also.
Kamari Gibson wide out with a 3 wide out set now to the left for Deere at quarterback. Now they're going to bring Wilson back over. He'll split out wide to the right, the short side of the field. Deere, deep pitch, going to come near side. He gets strung out at the 40. Great defensive play in the backfield. Jake Curbo with a great play back at the 40 will pull him down for a 3-yard loss at the 39.
You want to talk about a coach making a change that helps his defense. He take Jake Curbo, which I just said, and put him over the wing slot. And then he's firing out into that wing slot. Jake Curbo takes him on, stands him up, is able to go make the tackle for only a short gain.
Well, this team only had 1 tackle for a loss all last Friday, as Ryan Stanton got the lone tackle for a loss against an incredibly fast Chapel Hill football team a week ago. Breaking out of the huddle, your White House, by the way, Ryan Betts at the rover, Hudson LeGros, Christian Weidman, and Jalen Hines, your safety and corners. Handoff, second man through, big hole, 35-30. Running into his own man at the 25, down at the 20, and wrestled down, it looks like, almost by his own guy, his own blocker, all the way up to the 17-yard line. Big carry and big pickup that time for Elijah Walker.
That was either one of 2 plays. It's either a trap or what we call a G, but either way, they're pulling a guard, and those linebackers are going to have to look through those guards, and that is one of their keys. That's pretty, that was 3rd and long, and they ran that play to the fullback. Very, one you wouldn't think he'd run in that situation, but it worked out.
Now, Dare right now is running this initial possession to start this football game off pretty well. Keeping it on the ground, 21-yard pickup by Walker. Starts up Palestine, 1st and 10 from the Lindale 18-yard line. Going right to left, near hash. Crowded set up, deep pitch, this time going to Wilson, crossing the 20, and then pulled down from behind. Nice containment there. This time it is Ryan Stanton with the tackle, about a yard deep in the backfield. He's going to lose 1 on the carry.
Yeah, and they did do that like they played earlier. They overloaded on one side and even run the running back over the tackle to that side, which would be the left side. That time is a lot better play by the cornerback coming up and forcing the inside, and Ryan Stanton making the tackle. They need Ryan Stanton, Jake Curbo, and Wyatt Parker to have a big game.
Well, 35 of 90 for 606 yards for Deere, so he has not thrown the ball very much at all. Palestine has not reached 3rd down yet. Big hole coming near side, 20, 15, 10, breaking the tackle at the 10, touchdown by Walker. As having to run wide and got outside the containment as Walker turned the corner and scores from 19 yards out. Palestine on the board first.
Yeah, they did just the opposite. Instead of spreading them out, they kept them in tight and was able to hook block that corner and get outside on the toss. Very much so. This is a running team. Like you said, he has not thrown the ball very much this year, and you can tell that they're a predominantly running team.
Well, Walker, leading rusher Alex Garcia, sets up for the extra point, and the big guy dinks it off the right upright. It is no good. Walker, 6 carries, 51 yards on that drive alone. They miss the extra point. Lindale will stop them there for the EP. It'll be a 6-0 lead for Palestine when we come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
The summer of 2022 has been tough on everyone, especially those that were without a top-performing HVAC system. Rose City Air was created by Will Decker and Heath Willingham after they experienced plenty of too little, too late scenarios, with 2 objectives in mind: service, and educate consumers on the most efficient ways to maintain a healthy AC unit correctly the first time and eliminate the anxiety of second and third opinions and repairs. Rose City Air takes the time to show you the complexities of maintaining a top-notch HVAC system while the estimate and assessment is being done. Rose City Air's free estimates, 24-hour no-hassle emergency services, low-cost maintenance agreements, and discounts for veterans, first responders, and educators are why Rose City Air wants to service your home or business whenever the need arises. 903-630-4343 or go to rosecityairtx.com.
Thank you so much, Heath Willingham and Rose City Air, and some fantastic guys here. Matter of fact, I think Heath is going to join us in the press box next Friday night in Jacksonville. It'll be good to have Heath by our side and enjoying some Lindale football that he helps with the broadcast. 6-0 lead for the Palestine Wildcats as they run right down the field. And Alan, just like you mentioned, almost a little 5.5 minutes of the first quarter. That's what this offense does.
Yeah, and it does, and that's one of the things I think Lance Angel wants to do. He wants to keep the ball away from the Lindale offense. You know, Lindale's offense has done a great job of scoring this year.
Garcia's going to boot it short to the 30-yard line, taken straight up the middle at the 35, and a decent return. Good return coming upfield by Ryan Betts as Betts picks up an extra 8, make it 9 yards. And Lindale's going to start off in good field position, 1st and 10 from their own 38.
You know, one of the best defenses is a good offense that runs that clock down. And like I said before, I think that's what Lance Angel's plan is to do here. Lindale in the past has scored pretty quickly. I think Lindale's going to have to think we don't want to put the ball in their hands too much either.
Yeah. Well, the one thing you can notice on Palestine, like a lot of the teams Lindale has faced, a lot of athletes playing both ways tonight for the Palestine Wildcats, and one of those notables is Tejon Wilson is back in the backfield. Faking the handoff. Thurman's going to go up the sideline. Got a man wide open in midfield. It's going to be Marcus Field, first down Lindale. And a long time, it was almost like a comeback route as Marcus Field came back to midfield to make that catch. 1st and 10 Lindale at the Palestine 48.
Yeah, Jordan Walker for Palestine made the tackle. He has 26 tackles on the year. A lot of time for him to throw the ball that time.
14-yard reception for Field. Patrick Daniels thought he was going to go in motion. Stop, stays to the right. They will switch up. A little bit of a double tight end set now with Landon Sullivan to the right side. Daniels in motion now. Long snap count. Thought about throwing it. Thurman's going to keep it 45-40, 35-30. Still on his feet, 25-20. Tackled inside the 20 up to the 15-yard line. Clint Thurman doing what he does best. He reads it rather quickly, and he doesn't hesitate. Goes right down the pipe and up to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10.
Yeah, Ty Crawford from his linebacker spot for Palestine had to make that tackle, but it was way down the field.
33-yard pickup for Clint Thurman, 1st and 10 to the 15. Fake handoff. Thurman looking left, going to throw left. Got a man open and backing out of bounds at the 8-yard line. We'll check on that completion. That may be Alex Romero. It is. Romero with his first completion. He picks up 8 on the reception now down at the 8-yard line.
Lindale's offense, once again, is no longer just a running offense. They're able to throw the ball. He has become a great passer, and he's able to run the ball. Clint Thurman's able to throw that ball up and down the field.
Well, back-to-back completions for Clint Thurman as well. 5:38 to go first quarter. 6-0 Palestine. Snap back. Thurman going to hand off to Patrick Daniels. Bounce it outside, inside, and then gets jersey tackled at the 5 and pulled back to the 6. They're going to actually mark him down at the 6-yard line. Looks like maybe a half yard short of the first down.
Yeah, the leading tackler for Palestine is Reese Hargers, and he's the one who made that tackle right then.
Well, Romero and Field set up to the short side of the field, wide left. Now Romero comes back to the right side. Split out wide right is Evan Moriarty. Thurman looking to the right. Sets a man in motion, handoff to Patrick Daniels. Daniels up the middle off tackle across the goal line, touchdown. Patrick Daniels in from 6 yards out. It is an immediate, less than a minute and a half answer for the Lindale Eagles.
Did you see that they put Corey Watts back as a slot, put him in motion as a lead back, and he read right up in the hole? When you have Corey Watts blocking for you as a lead blocker, he can probably make a pretty big gap.
Well, you don't mind seeing guys with numbers in the 50s, going in motion behind the line of scrimmage. 5:02 to go. They're going to go for 2. And Palestine trying to get substitutions off the field. Thurman takes a snap, follows a whole sea of blue into the end zone. The 2-point conversion is good.
You know what this looks like? It looks like the single wing.
Yes, it did.
The old single wing back from the 1910s.
There was about 5 guys in the backfield. Nobody knew who the snap was going to go to. It is 8-6. Lindale Eagles take the lead with 5:02 to go when we come back.
Alford's Tire Brake and Alignment is going all in with the 2022 Lindale Eagles. Safety first is not only common sense when it comes to your transportation, it should be the top priority anytime it comes to the overall protection of your family. Safety checks on your basic brake and tire conditions or need for maintenance on your AC system is paramount during the heat of a 2022 summer. Alford's Tire Brake and Alignment puts the entire family name behind making sure you stay stress-free on the road year-round. You'll find tire replacements for all size tires, even lawn mowers. Lift kits and auto accessories are installed right there. And in some cases, while you wait, Alford's Tire Brake and Alignment, Highway 69, 4 miles south of I-20 in Tyler. AlfordsBrakeandAlignment.com.
Clint Thurman with his 5th two-point conversion of the season gives Lindale an 8-6 lead over Palestine. Palestine came right down the field and scored on their first possession. Lindale did the same. The only difference, it only took Lindale a minute and a half and, took Palestine 28 minutes. So first quarter, and Dusty just reminded us of how fast. I think we got out of this Palestine game, I think at 10:05, last year. The game was over, post-game, everything. And all because of this offense. Well, they're going to do a little squib kick. It hits a Palestine Wildcat, bounces up through 2 players, and somebody ended up catching a deflection at the 40-yard line. That's going to be Dre White. That was one of the more confusing kicks, but for the first time, we saw Seth Baggett do a fake kick. Somebody else came in and booted it sideways. It hit Perry Cole right in the gut. He couldn't pull the ball in. Hit another Palestine Wildcat, bounced straight up into the hands of Dre White.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Coach Cochran trying to get that ball back again, thinking that he can get a little bit of an onside. Really, it wasn't an onside, it was a squib kick.
Yeah, that could have been dangerous.
Yeah.
That ball bounced around 3 different players. So Palestine with the football back, 4:57 to go first quarter, 8-6 lead for the Lindale Eagles. Eric Estrada, your center. Snap back, handoff Wilson. Wilson coming back into the defense, breaking a tackle. Great run by Wilson. He breaks a tackle at the 40. He ends up at the 48-yard line. He finally hits the ground after being trailed by about 3 blue jerseys.
Well, Coach Roselle told me that he's bigger than he appears from up here and has some pretty big legs on him, because I'm going to tell you, they had him in the back. They had him around the line of scrimmage, and he was able to drag them for about an 8-yard gain.
Well, he picks up exactly 8 up to the 48-yard line. Boy, they had him stopped at around the 41-yard line, but once again, boy, everybody up top. And nobody down around those legs trying to stop that churning. Lone receiver split out wide to the right. Handoff second man through. Deere hits his man across midfield, first down. And tackle made in the backfield, in the defensive backfield by Christian Weidman, but they give up 4 yards in the first down. 1st and 10, Palestine at the Lindale 48.
That's just a little fullback lead. They take the halfback, lead him in on the linebacker, and give the ball to fullback. And you got to have somebody like Christian Weidman to come up from the safety to make the tackle.
You know what, Alan? There's just times it's hard to watch to figure out really who gets the ball at times in these traps.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, with the wing tee, that's the whole purpose of this offense is the misdirection, and that's what enables it to be a good offense.
Everybody inside the hash mark. Snap back, going to be off tackle handoff. This time it'll go to Ty Crawford, and Crawford gets wrestled down. He barely gets back to the line of scrimmage before the Lindale defense led by Ryan Betts. Betts gets the crowd into it a bit with a pretty big hit at midfield, but he picks up just barely, maybe an inch on the play.
Now, that's called the old buck sweep, where they pull the 2 guards towards the direction the ball's going. Basically, they fake the trap, and then they give it to the halfback up into to the not really to the outside. A lot of people thought the buck sweep went to the outside, but no, they make a little crease right outside the tight end, and they were able to make the stop.
Well, boy, this is a tough offense if you're a wide receiver. Everybody is jammed in. Now they're going to shift from the right to the left. Extra blockers on the left side. Deere turns around, fake handoff. He's going to throw this time. In the pocket, will throw down deep across 2 receivers. And flag comes down as Dusty has made some kind of yellow airplane that went the wrong direction.
I'm going to tell you, Kenny, that with a true wing tee, which Coach Roselle told me they run well, there's 3 plays that run off. You got the trap that goes to the fullback. You got what's called the buck sweep that goes to the halfback. And then they run a bootleg off of that. So you got 3 plays that come from one. That was the bootleg play, okay, where they flood the zones. They have a guy that goes out in the flat, which is usually the fullback. The tight end's going across in the middle. And then they have a guy going deep.
Well, Dusty thought he saw a procedure call. There may have been two guys moving at the same time, but they're going to call offside against the Eagles. So that was a long offside call as the linesman and referee Jerry Maynard had to talk about it. So 5-yard mark off, first flag of the day. With 2:49 to go first quarter, Palestine 2nd and 5 now from the 43-yard line on the first pass attempt by Deere. Threw it well behind his intended receiver, Perry Cole. It fell incomplete, but 5-yard penalty. Handoff, first man through, and absolutely destroyed is Tristan Gardner. Tristan Gardner gets his first carry of the night. Gardner, 10 carries, 71 yards on the season. So he gets knocked down for a 2-yard loss.
Well, I tell you what happened. Gabe Hart figured out that trap because that's what that play was, and he was able to follow that down. When the guy pulled in front of him, he was able to follow that down to make the tackle. Great play by him.
Yeah, Gardner with his second carry of the night. Ball situated right in the middle of the field at the 45-yard line. Palestine 3rd and 7. Lindale defense, see what they can do. Handoff, second man through. Stopped at the 43-yard line and finally pulled down. And that time it's going to be Elijah Walker with the carry. And he picks up minimal yardage and whistled down. Referee is coming over towards the huddle. We're trying to check and see if there may have been a flag down as they've stopped play.
Watt Parker made the tackle on that.
Okay.
There's just a flood of people up on the line of scrimmage with this wing to you. Sometimes it's hard to see who makes the tackle.
Well, we got a flag down at the 46-yard line. So the tackle right around where they made the tackle. There's going to be a loss of a couple of yards on the tackle on Walker, but they continue to discuss what the penalty is. Flag, I think, was thrown by the umpire around the area of holding. It's going to be a chop block against Palestine. So that will be an awesome break for the Lindale Eagles, even though the defense was starting to stifle this offense between the hash marks on this drive in particular. And they will pick up a nice 10-yard mark off on the spot of the foul penalty against Palestine.
Well, you got to play defense a little bit different against this type of offense, and I know that they went over it during the week, but you got to play it a little bit at the right speed to catch up with it, and that's what they're starting to do.
Well, big mark off against Palestine, 3rd and 17 now from their own 45-yard line. Deere in a passing situation, throws it complete, and nowhere to go. Lindale defense snubs it out and tackles Kamari Gibson for a huge loss.
I think the first one there was Carson Plunkett because he's awful happy out there.
Well, Plunkett got to him, I think, first. Ryan Betts came in second. Jake Kerbo, I know, was in at the very end, but they stopped him. It was a quick pass. Looked like he had a couple of blockers out around the 40-yard line, but nobody put a helmet on any blue jersey, and they were all over him for a 3-yard loss. 4th and forever for Palestine as they break back to punt right now, as Perry Cole will stand at his own 27-yard line waiting for the snap. 3 up back, snap is high. Cole gets a horrible kick, goes off the side of his foot. It hits at the 47 and out of bounds at the Lindale 48-yard line.
What was that, like 12 yards?
That is a 16-yard punt as Perry Cole is not happy with himself as he just literally shanked that punt out of bounds inside his own territory, at the 48 of Lindale.
Kenny, was you a punter in high school?
No.
Well, I was.
No, I acted like a punter in high school, but no, they figured out no.
Well, I was, and to have a punt like that would have killed me. You were probably the ones returning.
Well, it's one of those things that Danny White still remains one of the most unappreciated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
Yes, did both.
Because of his talent and what he did and as many times as he got hit. A Trips stacked receiver core to the right side. Lone receiver now, Marcus Field goes in motion. Fake handoff, Clint Thurman right up the middle, 45-40. Breaking it to the outside, looking to the end zone. 30, 25, 20, run out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Clint Thurman, Alan, I know you've thought about this 100 times. If Clint Thurman had 4.6 speed, this guy would score every time he got across the line of scrimmage.
He just amazes me every game. You know, they're doing a little misdirection to get the primary focus off of him, and then he just makes a fake and takes off.
41-yard run for Clint Thurman. By himself in the backfield now. Puts Field in motion. He breaks out behind him. Thurman's now going to keep it again off the left side. 15 to the 10. Breaks tackle. 5, touchdown. Clint Thurman in the end zone from 19 yards out. I don't know.
Clint Thurman, the running back tonight.
Yeah. Oh, my. 44 seconds to go in the first period, and Lindale with a 14-6 lead, and they're going to line up again to go for two. Trips receivers wide out to the right side. Thurman with Patrick Daniels behind him. Looking to the outside. Thurman takes a snap, will follow Daniels into the hole. Touchdown, 2-point conversion. Thurman almost could walk in as he had plenty of protection on the outside, led by Casey Poe, opened up a huge hole. Lindale Eagles 16, Palestine 6 with 44 seconds to go in the first quarter.
You're listening to the Coy Sessions from Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House.
All right, Coy, let's take it from the top.
Let's see. Brisket Love Barbecue and...
Again.
Brisket Love Barbecue and...
Again.
Brisket Love Barbecue and...
Again.
Texas Monthly, twice in a row, said we're some of the best barbecue in East Texas. So we want you to come see us. Remember, you stay for the food, you come for the experience.
I think we got it.
Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, I guess you don't mind when you come back from what the Lindale Eagles experienced a week ago and your defense gives up a long drive to Palestine. Your offense comes back and allows your defense to make a stop and get the momentum back, and Lindale has answered nicely. 16-6. Baggett will kick it short. Seth has it come down to the 32-yard line, and fair catch is made right there by Caden Patton. At the 32-yard line, Palestine will get the ball back for the third time. They drove it right down the field in 5.5 minutes to score the first touchdown of the night, and then the Lindale defense went to work. A couple of tackles behind the line of scrimmage and came back nicely.
Well, I think it's very important for Lindale to play good defensively tonight to get their confidence back. Last two games have been tough on them. So, I told you before the game, that's one of the things they have to do is they have to play hard, they have to play smart and get that confidence back.
Well, they're back on the field right now. Ball in the middle of the field at the 32-yard line. Deep pitch from Deere back to Walker. Walker trying to string it out. Breaks the tackle at the 30, turning it up the sideline. Gets good yardage. But they're going to say he stepped out at the 35-yard line. So looked like he was going out around the 40, but he ends up picking up only 2. Make that 3 on the carry.
Well, Hudson LeGros was out there and made him change his path a little bit, which made him step out of bounds, I believe.
And you made mention of that a few times, obviously, last week, that, boy, Contain really killed this defense a week ago. Now, obviously, they had to run full blast just to try to get outside the runners for Chapel Hill. But that time, LeGros got far outside and forcing him to utilize that sideline as a little bit of a barrier. Help with that short gain.
We forget that Hudson LeGros is just a sophomore, too.
A lot of great sophomores on this football team. Handoff, second man through. Lindale defense stifle right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe forward progress. Linesman's going to mark him down with a yard gain up to the 40, make it the 36-yard line. We're going to see who comes up off the bottom of that pile for Palestine. It'll be Walker with the carry. As Elijah Walker, only a junior as well. And Coach Lance Angel moving some sophomores up. And unfortunately for Angel, they're going to let this clock roll out. First quarter comes to a close. Lindale leading 16-6 Eagles. When we come back, Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
You know that old saying that a man's number one job is to protect his family? Well, that's exactly what my dad had in mind when he founded Beeler Roofing in the late 1970s. Well, now it's 2022, and it's still the backbone of why Beeler Roofing continues to take care of families and businesses' new roofs, full roof replacements, and even simple roof repairs. We still welcome a good old personal phone call to set up a free roof assessment, and we take a lot of pride and enjoyment from making our customers feel better about being home. Plus, we can even help you navigate the insurance process. This is Brooks Beeler, Lindale class 1989, and very proud to support your Lindale Eagles again this year. Find us on the web at BeelerRoofing.com or call us at 903-347-8484. Beeler Roofing, our family protecting your family from the top down for over 40 years.
Back at Eagle Stadium, Lindale Eagles with their final home game of the year. They take a 16-6 lead after one quarter. And Alan, I wasn't doing games around here when Adrian Peterson, who obviously is probably the most noted athlete to come out of Palestine the last few years, and as of right now, I have no idea where Adrian Peterson even is.
It seems like he was still trying to play.
Is he back at home? Dusty? Okay. Dusty refuses to wear a headset during the game, so we're just going to have to get a note from him probably. 3rd and 7. Palestine will flip sides. They're going left to right now as they take a look at the sideline to get the play call. Lance Angel says, well, we're all confused now. We're going to glance over, and Angel decides to call his first timeout of the first half. Down 16-6.
Well, I was for sure there's going to be a penalty on that play. It looked like that Carson Plunkett jumped off sides. He sort of hung there and then got back. Good for Lindale that nobody on the Palestine side moved at all.
Well, other games going on around the area tonight. As a matter of fact, just in this district, District 9 4A, Kilgore and Chapel Hill right now still undefeated. Kilgore at 4-0, Chapel Hill at 3-0 right now. Lindale right behind them, district standings at 2-2. Henderson at 1-2, Palestine at 1-2, Jacksonville 1-3, and Athens right now is winless. Kilgore is at Athens tonight. Chapel Hill is at Henderson. Now, Henderson's been playing a lot better football the last 2 weeks because when they came here to Lindale, Alan, you and I both were convinced that they probably weren't going to win another game the way they were playing. But Henderson's been scoring some points. Chapel Hill, Henderson, of course. Jacksonville is off tonight. There maybe have some coaches probably out in the stands right now watching this ball game. Back out of the timeout, 3rd and 6 from the 36-yard line. Deere fakes the handoff, play action, looking downfield, got a man open, bright open, middle of the field at the 45, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. Caught in the middle of the field by Tashawn Wilson. Wilson was by himself, uncovered, and took it the distance, 64 yards for the touchdown.
Well, if you remember earlier, we talked about how they shifted everybody over to one side. Well, they did the same thing, but what happened is it left Tashawn Wilson at a slot. They turned and faked a toss. He stood up. Tashawn Wilson went straight up the middle of the field. Nobody covered him.
Well, a corner from the far side came over for a little bit of help. Jalen Hines looked like he may have had an angle on Wilson, but Wilson just ran to the right corner and was able to get in before Hines caught up with him.
But, you know, they're trying to get a little hocus-pocus going on in there, and they're trying to hide their favorite receiver and their favorite runner, and unfortunately for Lindale, that's what they did that time.
Well, extra point is up and good by Garcia, and quickly Palestine back on the board. 16-13, Lindale. We come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
Hey, Doc Deason here, Lindale class of 1990 with Real Edge Real Estate in Tyler. You can find me online at DocDeasonRealEstate.com. You know, after this summer, anything associated with fall is going to be welcome throughout the season, especially Lindale High School football. It's an honor for me to again partner with my friend of 30 years, your play-by-play man, Kenny Smith. There's nothing in this country quite like Texas high school football, and you need to know we're partaking in a legendary pastime right now. But when the game's over, if you need some help with real estate, give me a shout. Don't hesitate. 903-262-8680. That's 262-8680. Again, I'm fellow Eagle Doc Deason. Thanks for listening.
You guys probably got a chance to see Doc Deason live at the Rose Parade this past week. Doc was following the TJC band and the drum corps in the parade. Dusty Swope with a score break.
Yeah,
Dusty, how you doing, buddy?
I am good. Glad to be back.
Well, you smell terrific. You smell great.
I appreciate it. I ate that barbecue, so it's Chapel Hill's over. Actually, Henderson just went up on Chapel Hill 9-7.
Oh my!
And then Kilgore and Athens, it's 0-0. Second quarter's just starting.
Okay, see, those are both shocking scores right now. Those are both shocking scores. Palestine trying an onside kick, and looks like the ball may have gone out of bounds before they were able to get on it. We're going to see where they're going to mark this out of bounds. Linesman on the far sideline shows it at the 47-yard line, so Palestine trying an onside kick. And Lindale, who was working on this 2 weeks ago and this past week, yesterday, here at the stadium, they work on onside kicks. If that ball is headed towards the sideline, they have a drill where they run from the football and allow the momentum of the football to go out of bounds. And that's exactly what just happened. As the kick return team backed off and the ball went out of bounds, they've got great field position. Thurman gets them started 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. Snap back. Thurman going to throw it quickly to Patrick Daniels. Daniels wide open, 40. Stand inbounds across the 35, knocked out at the 33-yard line. A fantastic play call there for a wide-open Patrick Daniels.
Well, Palestine is in what you call a 3-4 defense, or a 5-2 for all of us old codgers. And what happens is they're playing a cover 2, and so the cornerback bit on the slant, the running back went up the outside and it was wide open.
24-yard pickup for Patrick Daniels on the completion. Handoff to Daniels this time, and Daniels minimal yardage, trying to stretch it and gets as much as he can. They're going to mark him down just outside the 29-yard line, so give him 2 on the carry. Daniels with a nice catch and reception. Daniels had a pretty darn good year catching the football. His 4th catch for 45 yards. He's averaging over 15 a catch, plus a touchdown through the air. But Patrick Daniels, 80 runs for 329. Thurman going to throw it again, throws it behind his intended receiver, and there's going to be a flag down. Romero, I think Clint Thurman thought he was going to do an out route. Romero did an in route about 5 yards downfield, turned inside. Thurman threw it to his outside shoulder. It falls incomplete. But a flag down on the near sideline. They're going to mark that an offside penalty against Palestine. So it's all right. They'll pick up 5 on the penalty. Only the 3rd flag tonight. 2 against Palestine, 1 against the Eagles.
I thought Clint Thurman was going to throw it deep again, but then, because he jumped off sides and I saw that, but he just went for that short route.
Well, they'll set up 2nd and 3 now from the 26-yard line. Landon Sullivan stops behind left tackle, faking the handoff. Thurman's going to go to the end zone. Now got a man open. In stride, Marcus Field, touchdown Eagles. Well, I'm looking again, and let's back it up for a minute. It'll be Ethan Moriarty with the touchdown catch on the far side. Ethan with a fantastic just go route, picked up a head of steam at the 20, and wide open, Thurman hits him in stride.
But, man, I'm telling you what, that was not one of these high arches. This was like on a dime. I'm telling you what, Clint Thurman, Kenny, has become
his progression in only his 2nd year playing, his 1st year as a starting quarterback. Extra point is up by Seth Baggett. Thurman's progression at the QB position has been outstanding. Touchdown, extra point. This time Baggett gets a chance to kick an extra point. 23-13 Lindale. We come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
Backing the Lindale Football Eagles now as he did back then. Eagle Chiropractic is owned and operated by former Lindale Eagles center, Dr. Shane Allen. A class of 1989 graduate, Dr. Allen is an expert in chiropractic and nutritional health counseling. His expertise in these areas assist him in helping patients reduce and even eliminate migraine headaches, neck pain, back pain, and joint pain of all levels, both acute and chronic. Eagle Chiropractic offers therapeutic exercises, nutritional supplements, and analgesic creams, along with educational consultations and follow-up to assure continued support and confidence in a healthy lifestyle that is pain-free. Eagle Chiropractic, Highway 69 in Lindale, open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturdays. Call for an appointment and consultation at 903-881-5172. Eagle Chiropractic, making people better every day.
Back at Eagle Stadium, it is a great answer for the Lindale Eagles as they get a Ethan Moriarty 26-yard touchdown catch. Baggett kicks it short again, going to kick it into a hole at the 23. Picked up on a bounce by the Wildcats, and a big hole, and he's loose. Midfield, 40-yard line, still on his feet at the 30. Up the right sideline, ducks it upfield to the 15, inside the 10, down at the 8-yard line. Well, boy, talk about a busted coverage there with the kick return team. Baggett placed it in there perfectly in a hole in the stadium where nobody was at. Taking it on one hop, returner takes it inside the 10. Palestine 1st and 10 at the 7-yard line of Lindale.
I know they had to work on kickoff coverage this week because of what happened last week. But, kickoff is so – if you get out of your lanes, you got to realize everybody's running down. They're supposed to stay in their lane. And if you get outside that lane and then go back, get in that lane after you're blocked, it leaves some big holes, and that's what's happening on those kickoffs.
I didn't even see what number ended up with that return. But a huge number. 1st and 10, Deere takes the snap. He's going to hand off, next man through, and caught in the backfield and just ripped down Jalen Hines with a massive tackle from up top back at the 11-yard line. And a big loss that time for Kamari Gibson. My fault. Ty Crawford with the carry. Crawford just nowhere to go. Jalen Hines ripped off of his receiver and came in and made a great tackle.
Yeah, that's what you want your outside cornerbacks to do. Jalen Hines has got 20 tackles on the year and 2 tackles for losses, but he just improved that to 3 tackles for losses.
Well, Palestine has scored on a 19-yard run by Walker and a 64-yard reception by Tejon Wilson. Walker in the backfield, faking the hand. To give the handoff. This time Walker. Walker again runs right into blue jerseys, crossing the 10 to the 9-yard line. Great defensive stops here, back-to-back for this Lindale defense.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I think Ryan Stanton has got to be the linebacker on that side because they're taking Jake Kerbo and moving him down over the slot wing look. That puts Ryan Stanton as the strong side linebacker and taking on that block. And did a great job. He stepped up in there and clogged that hole up, and Wyatt Parker and that backside defense was able to come make the tackle.
Well, they've been continuing with this three-man front for the Lindale defense, and at times you'll see a fourth down lineman right before the snap. Four-man front this time on this snap. Snap back to Deere, straight drop back. Gonna throw, coming near side. Thrown inside and well covered by Jalen Hines. Inside receiver by Kamari Gibson. Intended for Gibson, falls incomplete. That may have been a good thing because Jalen Hines was all over the coverage.
Well, Coach Roselle told me before the game, I guess I can tell you now, that they were going to be taking Jake Kerbo and moving him when they get that wing because of the wing T, moving him and covering him up a little bit over that wing, which strengthens up that outside gap.
I think, Dusty, he just revealed Allen's been keeping secrets from us. He can tell us now. 16, make it a 26-yard field goal attempt by Garcia on the fourth down play. It's up and good. So the Lindale defense will hold them to a field goal attempt, and the defensive staff of coaches are elated with their defense coming to the sideline. 23-16, Eagles getting the ball back with 9:16 to go when we come back.
If you're looking to advance and improve your baseball or softball skills and overall game with the hopes of moving on to the next level, Marucci Elite East Texas is the premier select organization to do just that. Hi folks, I'm Derek Kraft, current minor league pitcher for the New York Yankees and coach for Marucci Elite. Head coaches Mike Holichuk and Jeff Casey take over 35 years of coaching experience to the field each year, showcasing East Texas's finest baseball and softball talent. Marucci Elite East Texas has proven itself to be the best at directly focusing on player development and the recruitment of its athletes. You can follow them anytime and learn more about Marucci Elite East Texas through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at METXETX. That's METXETX for Marucci Elite East Texas.
Well, bad news for Lance Angel, and talk about a guy that's taken it on the chin more than once this season already. Lance losing 5 defensive starters in his loss to Kilgore 2 weeks ago, in that 49-35 loss to Kilgore, my apologies, a few weeks ago, in a 32-0 shutout. Lance Angel losing 5 defensive starters, and getting assistance off the field is injured Eric Estrada, who is their starting center, and also playing defense as well. Estrada is playing both ways for this football team, and that will be a massive problem for them trying to replace 2 different players, as Estrada out there snapping. And let me see if he is the deep snapper. Deep snapper is Ty Stedham. But that time in particular, Estrada out on the field for that field goal attempt, which was good by Palestine to pull them to within 23-16. But once again, we'll keep an eye on number 50, Eric Estrada, starting center of this Palestine football team. Palestine kicks off. Garcia will kick it deep this time, kicks it well over the head of Patrick Daniels and out of the end zone. Patrick was standing at his own 15-yard line, tried to run back, but no chance. This ball goes out of the end zone for a touchback.
You know, Kenny, that was a great stop by the
Great stop?
By the Lindale defense, because the Palestine ran it back all the way, in the red zone, and then they were able to stop them, just hold them to a field goal.
It's got to make defensive guys happy.
Oh, yeah.
Makes you happy.
Yes, it does.
All right. Dusty with a score break.
Well, no, I was going to note something here. With 9 minutes left in the second quarter, Lindale has 186 total yards offense. Clint Thurman is 176 of that between passing and running.
And he just added to that. Clint Thurman takes a keeper up the middle and picks up 10, 11, 12, make it 13 yards. Thurman with the first down carry for the Lindale Eagles. That's their first down here in the second period as Thurman adds to those numbers.
And it'll set up 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 38-yard line. Going right to left, Thurman turns around, hands off Daniels. Daniels off tackle, straight up the middle now. Breaks the tackle at the 40 to the 45, crossing midfield, up to the 48-yard line, this time of the Palestine Wildcats.
Oh, he made a great move in the middle of the offensive line to get away. And then number 11, Dre White, made the tackle for Palestine.
13-yard pickup for Patrick Daniels, puts him into Wildcat territory with 8:45 to go in the first half. Set up with trips receivers to the wide side of the field. That's the right side. Ball near hash mark. Thurman, Daniels in motion, coming left. Thurman will follow Daniels. Breaks it off tackle. Big yardage across the 45 to the 40 up to the 38-yard line. Another first down. 3 plays, 3 first downs for the Eagles.
Yeah, Ty Crawford made the tackle for Palestine. You know, and that big offensive line of Lindale is just making big old holes.
And a few pancakes already for this offensive line. Will Hutchins leading this team in pancakes and knockdowns, however you want to say it, with 67. Thurman set up in the eye, hands off Daniels. No, he's going to keep it. Play action, going to throw it complete to a wide open Romero at the 30, 25-20. Still up the sideline, gets horse-collared out at around the 14-yard line. I think he probably got pulled down from the shoulder pad. The Lindale crowd, which is the furthest away from the play, almost as far as we are, but it looks like Romero got whipped out of bounds by his shoulder pad. Big game by Alex Romero.
I'm telling you what, that was a great play fake also. I thought that the running back had the ball, did a little bootleg pass out there for Clint Thurman.
Well, 4 plays, 4 first downs. Romero for 25-yard reception. Clint Thurman, handoff. Patrick Daniels right side this time. Cuts up middle of the field, breaks the tackle to 10. Across the 5 up to the 4-yard line. Daniels will mark him down at the 5. Another big gainer right on top of the first down marker. Are they going to give it to him? Will they wave it on? The nose of the football, I think, is right just short of the first down. The umpire is still standing over the football. Well, the referee is pointing to the Lindale sideline. Okay, there's a flag on the near sideline that we all just picked up. It's going to be an offside call, the second one against Palestine tonight. And they're obviously going to just decline this penalty. And they're going to say they're short of the first down by about a half a yard. So 2nd and 1 at the 5-yard line. Patrick Daniels with another big gainer of 9. Daniels on the season, 80 carries, 329 yards, 4 touchdowns, a long of 38 yards. Landon Sullivan moves from the left to the right quickly. Turn around, hand off to Daniels, leaps a tackler, and pulled down inside the 5 up to around the 3-yard line. That'll be a 1st and goal now for the Lindale Eagles. I don't know what's happened. That was a run without a first down, one run without a first down. What's going on there? 6 runs, 5 first downs on this drive alone. 7:05 to go first half. Lindale Eagles up 23-16. Handoff, Daniels, easy run, touchdown, Patrick Daniels, his 2nd one tonight.
Man, I'm telling you what, that big offensive line just blew them past the goal line, and it was an easy run for Daniels.
Well, Daniels goes in this time from 3 yards out and gives Lindale a 29-16 lead with 6:56 to go. Baggett steps up for the extra point try. Thurman to hold at the 10-yard line. Snap is good. Hold is good. And again, Seth Baggett is good. Lindale Eagles with a 30-16 lead with 6:56 to go first half. We come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
A showroom almost as big as a football field. Really? Office Barn in Tyler.
A ridiculous amount of inventory at Office Barn. New and gently used office furniture.
More desks than the Pentagon.
Any style of desk imaginable. Desk as low as $50.
Office chairs.
Over 1,000 chairs in stock of all kinds from $20 to $2,000.
Conference room tables.
Biggest selection of new and used conference tables we've had in a long time.
Low cubicle prices.
Really stylish cubicles and workstations with space planning, delivery, and install.
Office Barn in Tyler.
We ship anywhere with next day delivery in East Texas. Buy it in the box and save even more. Discounts for nonprofits, veterans, and first responders.
Between Tyler and Lindale on Highway 69. Across from the big American flag.
Call or or text us. It's the same number, 903-881-0340.
Office Barn in Tyler.
Office Barn.
That is the fantastic voice of John Longcrier. We'll get a scoring update from Dusty Swope here shortly. Kick is short up there around the 28-yard line. Palestine will tell you fair catch. Let's go to our live update. Game break, Dusty Swope.
Thank you, Kenny. Maybank is Hey, I was trying to make it sound like a good game break.
Yeah, you're in a different room.
Yeah, Kaufman is over Maybank 14-7. Chapel Hills went over Henderson 14-10 with 6 minutes left in the second, and Kilgore is finally scored on Athens 6-0 there with 4:40 left in the second.
That is shocking.
Yes,
I'm telling you, Alan Phillips is as shocked as I am right now.
It's almost a letdown.
14-10. Yeah, you got to wonder how they're tackling those guys. Oh, my. 1st and 10, Palestine at their own 28-yard line. Lindale defense looking for a few more tackles here. 4-man front, straight drop back. Deere gets shuffled out of the pocket. Now he's going to throw it. Got a man open, complete at the 30. Well, that's a great play by Deere. It looked like he was going to throw it out of bounds and throws it complete to Caden Patton on the outside, but he's right at top of the first down marker. They may be they're going to move the chain, so a 10-yard completion to Caden Patton. And we'll set up 1st and 10, Palestine at their own 39.
I thought for a minute there was going to be a flag thrown because I could have swore Christian Weidman grabbed hold of him and slowed him down to catch up with him. But maybe I'm just seeing things. That's what happens when you get old.
Well, I really thought Deere was throwing that out of bounds.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, it looked like he slowed him down.
Yeah. 1st and 10, Palestine, 39, ball near hash. Dual receivers top side. Deep pitch this time going to Wilson. Wilson trying to string it out and run it right into the Lindale defense. Who is that? Getting up in the backfield. Taking a look at what number just got up off that pop.
20?
Okay, but Aiden Warnell. You know what? Warnell just got moved up from the junior varsity, and Aiden just made a heck of a play on one of the top running backs in this area. Tajon Wilson just got popped for a 2-yard loss from a kid just got pulled up from the JV.
Well, that was one of those power tosses where they move everybody over there to, overload that. And he came from the secondary like a shot.
Warnell making a fantastic play, and welcome to varsity there. 2nd and 12. Deere hands off, second man through, a tough exchange, and the Lindale defense will thwart what looks like a possible gain into a loss again. And Ryan Stanton coming up off of that pile on the bottom. Big man Christian King.
I will tell you, Ryan Stanton has really turned into a very good linebacker, coming up, making tackles, and going side to side.
Yes. Well, Tristan Gardner gets another carry, but he regrets that one. Ball on the far hash mark. He loses one on the rush. 3rd and 13 now. Lindale Eagles leading Palestine 30-16. 4:51 clock rolling in the first half. Dual receivers, and the hot shot to Sean Wilson split out wide to the left. It's going to be thrown short. It'll be caught 40-yard line and out of bounds. Hudson Deere has to scramble. Thought he was going to throw it short. He's got to run to the near sideline. He'll pick up positive yardage, but way short of the first down. As a 4th and 8 punting situation now for Palestine, and the Lindale Eagles will get the football back with plenty of time.
We were just talking about Ryan Stanton. He backed up into his lane as pass coverage and then saw that quarterback scrambling and chased him down from the middle of the field. It's a great job by that linebacker.
Well, and there's not a lot we've seen Ryan Stanton does not do well. Vis-a-vis you take away a week ago, the guy still led this team in tackles. Snap is way over the head of punter and Perry Cole. He's back at his 8-yard line, picks it up, and he gets the kick off, but it just barely gets it back to the 31-yard line. It was partially blocked, Dusty says, and a crazy deep snapping poor moment right there by Ty Stedman, the deep snapper. And Perry is having a tough time tonight.
You got to hand it off to him, though, because he was going back there chasing that ball, picked it up, and he picked it up around the 10-yard line, didn't he? He was way back there.
He was back at around the 8-yard line.
Yeah, and he got some foot on it, even though it did get blocked a little bit.
Yeah, number 25, Cave Hoddle, got his hands up, and Hottie, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, he got his hands up at the last minute and just barely tipped that ball.
Well, that ball made a strange twirl when it came off of his foot.
Dual receivers to the right side. Clint Thurman, play action, going to go near sideline. He's going to go for pay dirt, throwing it up. It's Marcus Field, in and out of his hands, incomplete.
Oh, I thought he had that one.
Well, he tried to go up and over the defenders. We've seen this guy do 5 or 6 times already this year. Clint Thurman threw it in unbelievably. The first time we've seen Clint actually almost throw it short on that go route up the near sideline. And Marcus really didn't have to jump that much, but he got behind his receiver, his defender, Jordan Walker, and almost pulled it in. That's Clint Thurman's first incompletion on the night. Handoff going far side, the new guy. As 35 gets his first pickup, Caleb Hart, who got moved up from junior varsity. Caleb gets his first carry of his varsity game and his varsity career. He picks up 4. Nice run by Caleb Hart.
Garrett Stedman was the one that made the tackle. He has 17 tackles for that Wildcat defense.
Well, unfortunately for Lance Angel, he could not field a junior varsity team for Palestine this week because of injuries and shortage of players. They were down to 15 players, I believe, so a lot of JV players getting a chance to run with the ball. Caleb Hart gets a carry again. First down, Lindale Eagles. Nice run by Caleb Hart, crossing the 20 up to the 18.
Caleb Hart, another one of those sophomores.
And you got to wonder if he's going to jump in here much like we saw Clint do a year ago, where he just makes himself at home and stays. 1st and 10 Eagles at the Palestine 18-yard line. 3:23 to go. Thurman wants to throw. Looking left, looking right. Now he's going to throw down the middle of the field. Got a man open. Landon Sullivan a little bit up towards his helmet. And coming in late and making a great defensive play, Dre White came in and knocked the ball out of the hands of Landon Sullivan right at the goal line.
I really thought they might get a little bit of pass interference on that when there was a little bumping going on before the ball got there.
Well, only the second incomplete pass for Thurman. That time a good defensive play by White. Snap back to Thurman. Hands off Gabe Hart. Hart picks up big yardage again. Caleb across the 10. We're going to see Caleb taking it to the 8-yard line.
You know, Gabe Hart's probably saying, yeah, I'll go up and run behind that big offensive line.
Big 10-yard pickup by Caleb Hart. 1st and goal now from the 8. Snap back. Clint Thurman's going to keep it himself to the 5, looking outside, and gets pulled out of bounds. No, he hits the pylon. Touchdown. Clint Thurman was getting pulled out of bounds. And I think he was getting pulled out of bounds by Garrett Stedman. Stedman whipped him around, and somehow Clint Thurman reached the ball over and tipped the top of the pylon for the score.
You know, Kenny, let me ask you, if you're Gabe Hart and they say, hey, Gabe, you want to come up and run behind this big offensive line? Would you turn that down? I wouldn't.
Well, remember, it's not Gabe, it's his brother Caleb.
Oh, Caleb, sorry.
Yep. Kick is up by Seth Baggett, and it is good.
I bet you Gabe's going, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Gabe's probably saying, give me some of that. So Caleb Hart, a major benefactor in this drive being successful for the Eagles. Lindale up 37-16, 2:57 to go when we come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
The summer of 2022 has been tough on everyone, especially those that were without a top-performing HVAC system. Rose City Air was created by Will Decker and Heath Willingham after they experienced plenty of too little, too late scenarios, with 2 objectives in mind: service and educate consumers on the most efficient ways to
maintain a healthy AC unit correctly the first time and eliminate the anxiety of second and third opinions and repairs. Rose City Air takes the time to show you the complexities of maintaining a top-notch HVAC system while the estimate and assessment is being done. Rose City Air's free estimates, 24-hour no-hassle emergency services, low-cost maintenance agreements, and discounts for veterans, first responders, and educators are why Rose City Air wants to service your home or business whenever the need arises. 903-630-4343 or go to RoseCityAirTX.com.
Back at Eagle Stadium, Kenny Smith, Coach Allen Phillips, and Dusty Swope getting to come home
for 1 week this season. The absence of Stuart Campion. Stuart is on the road to a family wedding. Seth Baggett will kick it deep this time, so the Palestine Wildcats will get a chance to return it right into the hands of Tayshawn Wilson. Wilson coming near side's got to string it out at the 15, and the Lindale kick coverage team led by Jalen Hines will push him out of bounds. Hayes Brooks also back there to help out.
and defending that run, and, boy, trying to make sure Wilson does not get loose.
You know, I'm telling you, that's a big thing right there for that kickoff team, because, you know, they've been burnt a couple of times, and so for them to get down those lanes and get him out of bounds at around about the 18, so they're pretty happy with that.
One of the things that they were desperately hoping they could find a way to improve on a week ago with as many kick return opportunities as they had. They worked extra hard on that this week during practice. So with 2:51, Palestine Wildcats with the football back. Lindale Eagles 37-16 with 2:50 to go first half. Deer, man under, fakes the handoff, now gives second man through, and Carson Plunkett puts an end to what looked like a big run by Elijah Walker. He barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And timeout Lindale Eagles as Chris Cochran and Matt Cochran may be talking about, hey, maybe we can use our 3 timeouts here, get this football back, and maybe get an icing on the cake in the first half here. With 2:42 to go, Cochran takes his first timeout. Dusty decides to take a timeout of his own, and he leaves.
Yep, I don't know where he went.
Dusty probably decided this is probably a good time to go take a break real quick.
You know, Carson Plunkett on that play, I think pretty well. He just followed that guard. That guard pulled out to the outside, and I think he followed right along with him and made the tackle.
Carson Plunkett, 30 tackles on the season, 4 of those for a loss. He is also second on this team with 2 sacks, just one behind Ryan Stanton, who's got 3 to lead this defense. And this is also defense, and Alan, you said this before we started the broadcast, they are desperate to make a big statement tonight, not just score-wise, trying to keep Palestine, you know, possibly under a couple 100 yards total offense.
Yeah, they want to get that confidence back. They want to get that swagger back.
Well, with second-string center Ty Stedman snapping back to Deer, play action. Deer gets hit immediately, throws incomplete up to around the 28-yard line. Well, they had the play sniffed out or set up because they had Kamari Gibson right at the first down marker. It'll fall incomplete as Deer got popped. Carson Plunkett got back right at the moment Deer let that football go, and Carson made a pretty darn good move. The fact that he did not annihilate Deer on that carry. They are 0 for 3 on third down conversions right now is Palestine.
How big is Carson Plunkett? Do you have his size?
Carson Plunkett, let's go with 5'11", 215.
See, he doesn't look that big from up here.
That's pretty thick. 3rd and 10 after the incompletion. Deer snap back and a handoff right up the middle, and nobody in front of Elijah Walker. Walker is about to take it 83 yards for the touchdown. That is how you get really hurt with this offense, is there every once in a while that quarterback will turn and hand off to the guy that comes to the line of scrimmage in about a step and a half, and that's what happens.
Yeah, it's called a trap play. And what happens is, with the way they're running the ball, Lindale gets everybody up on the line of scrimmage, and everybody's up within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. And if he breaks past that, he's gone. There's nobody to chase him down.
Well, with 2:25 to go in the first half, Lindale will absolutely get the football back before the first half ends. But unfortunately, they will give up a long touchdown run by Walker. Snap is back, hold is down, and kick is up. And it is no good, as pushing the football to the right, Garcia will miss his second extra point of the night. 37-22. Lindale Eagles about to get the football back when we come back.
Alford's Tire, Brake, and Alignment is going all in with the 2022 Lindale Eagles. Safety first is not only common sense when it comes to your transportation, it should be the top priority anytime it comes to the overall protection of your family. Safety checks on your basic brake and tire conditions or need for maintenance on your AC system is paramount during the heat of a 2022 summer. Alford's Tire, Brake, and Alignment puts the entire family name behind making sure you stay stress-free on the road year-round. You'll find tire replacements for all size tires, even lawn mowers. Lift kits and auto accessories are installed right there. And in some cases, while you wait, Alford's Tire, Brake, and Alignment, Highway 69, 4 miles south of I-20 in Tyler. AlfordsBrakeandAlignment.com.
Thank you so much to the entire Alford family, as Harvey Alford and everybody that works within Alford's tire industry inside that shop, incredibly passionate about customer service, and it's one of those things that everybody preaches about. We got the best service department here, we got the best customer service here. Well, you talk to anybody that does business for a long time with Alford's Tire, and they'll tell you there's a reason they've done business with Alford's Tire for so long, because this football team has seen a few Alfords go through it. Jacob's still on this coaching staff. Evan just graduated a year ago. And they continue to back the Lindale Eagles. Garcia will kick the football out of the end zone, and Lindale Eagles will have the longest part of the field to go to see if they can answer that long touchdown run by Walker. And, boy, you get right back there, and the long run, I know it starts over, Allen, pretty quick, and you get a chance to get the football back, but, boy, you still take a hit defensively.
Yes, and it drives you nuts as a defensive coordinator. You're sitting down there, you're going, don't fall asleep on any play. Unfortunately, the way that trap looks is that their linemen are going one way, and then they pull a guy and trap a defensive lineman, and the linebackers are gone out of that hole, and there's nobody there.
Clint Thurman sets him up 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Patrick Daniels in the backfield with him. Sullivan in a stacked receiver behind Marcus Field near side. Stacked receivers on the far side. Now Landon Sullivan will move behind the right tackle. Patrick Daniels steps up behind Clint Thurman. And now timeout. Matt Cochran is livid right now on the sideline, slapping his play sheet. They had to call timeouts and reset this offense. Their formation was not ready to get set before the snap of that football.
One of the things I've noticed that Coach Cochran is doing, Matt Cochran, is that he is shifting and he is motioning and trying to get that Palestine defense out of position to make some holes and some pass lanes for the Lindale offense. That time they didn't line up to start out with the right way, and so it messed up all the shifting and everything.
Well, Dusty knows this because of being part of these broadcasts last 2 years, but Matt Cochran had the talent and the athletes the last 2 years where he could do whatever he wanted to offensively, try so many different things. This year he doesn't. He's got Clint Thurman doing a lot. Play action, dart across the middle to the 35, to the 40. Alex Romero with a big gainer across the 40 to the 43-yard line. That's going to be an 18-yard pickup by Romero. 1st and 10, Lindale Eagles.
It has Reese Hargers for Palestine to make the tackle from this free safety spot.
10th first down for the Lindale Eagles in the first half. Snap back, handoff to Daniels. Patrick Daniels breaking a tackle. 40, spin move, 45, up the middle towards midfield. Patrick Daniels, tell you what, an entirely different runner from a year ago. Patrick Daniels keeps his feet moving, has worked that spin move to perfection right now, picks up 7 up to midfield.
He's got pretty quick feet.
He doesn't stop him either.
No.
Has a little dancer when he gets in the open field. Minute 46 to go, midfield. 2nd and 3. Clint Thurman faking the handoff, takes it straight up the middle, follows a blocker, breaks it outside, breaking another one, stretches it towards the 45, down at the 47. Well, the umpires got him marked at the 46. The linesmen have him at the 47. That's where they'll set it down. And a Palestine Wildcat getting up slowly. And, well, that's going to be Eric Estrada. Estrada back on the field. Thurman going to throw it. Far side. I got a man wide open. Hit and out of bounds. It's going to be Moriarty again with the catch at the 35-yard line. And out of bounds will stop the clock at 1:27 to go.
You know, one of the things that Lindale has done pretty well is they've thrown those fade patterns straight down the field, for touchdowns, if you'll remember. And so what they're doing now is their outside receivers coming off the field just flying deep, and then he turns and comes back on a turn route. And Ryan Stanton's doing a great job of hitting him right there.
Well, the referee threw a flag back at the 47-yard line of Lindale, and he was run up to the umpire and the linesman. They're talking about this. Referee throws a flag. It's usually not a good thing. It's 99% of the time it's on the offense. We'll see what this is all about, as nobody has moved yet. It'll be a personal foul, hands to the face against the offense in Lindale. Microphone not working well for referee Jerry Maynard tonight. So we didn't get a chance to hear who that was on, but it is a major 15-yard mark-off. It's going to be a spot foul. The ball is going to be now set down at the Lindale 38-yard line. That is a crazy bad penalty, 15-yard plus mark-off. Field position anyway for the Eagles, only their second flag all night, 2 flags for 20. Clint Thurman's going to keep it himself, crosses the 40. And just inside the right around 43-yard line, they'll mark him down. So minimal gain for Clint Thurman. And now situation for the Lindale Eagles with 2 timeouts. Make that 1 timeout left and a minute 11 to go. Dropping the football, Clint Thurman picks it back up and he'll throw it. Almost out of bounds. It's intercepted in midfield to the 40, to the 30, returning it for Palestine to the 20-yard line, breaking the tackle at the 20 to the 15. Clint Thurman was trying to throw the football out of bounds, and it never got to the sideline. Oh, my.
I'm sort of shocked because he dropped the ball on the snap, and when he picked it up, he was getting pressure. So he started rolling out that sideline. Like you said, he just tried to throw it out of bounds, but he shorted it right to him.
Well, Clint did not get the football out of bounds, and it is caught at midfield, and Palestine has returned it to the 14-yard line of the Eagles with 56 seconds to go.
You know, one of the things we've talked about is momentum, and boy, you're talking about turning the momentum right there.
Well, we're going to check with the to see who made the interception. Straight drop back for Deere. Deere's going to go to the end zone. It's up for grabs and tipped out of bounds and out of the end zone, incomplete. And Deere just threw it up for grabs, and looked like Hudson LeGros was back there defending. Gibson was the intended receiver back in the back of the end zone. And Deere just lobbed it up there to see who could catch it.
You know, it's on the short side of the field, too, and I don't understand that sometimes. They don't give your receivers much room to catch it.
Well, you got to be a pretty darn good pinpoint quarterback if you're going to work that on the short side of the field. Ball far hash mark, no receivers outside the hashes except for the short side of the field. Handoff, it's going to be a pass back attempt by Tashawn Wilson. He's just going to keep it at the 15 and run out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Did not work. That was going to be a Philly special situation where he hands off. Deere handed off to Wilson. Wilson reversed his field. Looked like he was trying to get in position to throw it back to Deere. Deere wasn't open. Wilson had to run that out for no gain.
Yeah, and Lindale's defense did a great job of staying at home on that side over there to not let him just run the ball in.
Well, even though we saw starting center Eric Estrada come back on the field to play defense, Stedman stays in to snap the football back to Deere. And looking back on the field, Stedman still on the field. Deere under center. Turnaround, hands off, first man through, and busted right at the line of scrimmage. Lindale Eagles will stop him for a gain of maybe a yard. We'll see who took the handoff. But maybe a yard gain. Looks like they're just going to set Alex Garcia up for a possible field goal attempt. It'll be Tristan Gardner with the carry.
I think they tried to run the trap again. And tell you the truth, the trap doesn't do so well when you get down the goal line because everybody's tightening it up. But I'm sure they thought they might catch Lindale, out of position, but nope. They said one time too many.
Well, Hudson Deere's going to stay on the field. Lance Angel may go for this. They've got the play clock rolling, and this may be a situation where he may take a timeout with 2 seconds to go, and he does. So with 2 seconds to go, they will send in the field goal team, I am sure. 37-22, Lindale leading right now, up by 15, but in a precarious situation, as this may turn out to be a 10-point swing here, Alan, with that interception that, boy, I'm sure Clint Thurman wants back.
Well, I was shocked just as you were. I didn't even see who caught the interception, but he was trying to throw it out of bounds. That's what usually when he does that, he throws it up in the rafters nearly, and that time he just sort of short-armed it.
Well, it looked like he was a little off balance.
Well, he dropped the snap, and I think he picked it up, and he's already getting some pressure, and he was rolling out that way, and he's probably stumbling out over there. But you're right. This, momentum-wise, this is a big switch here.
Well, out of the Lance Angels' second time out of the first half with 2 seconds to go.
They're going to go for it.
They're actually going to – nope, they got the holder and the kicker in. Alex Garcia comes out. They're going to spot it down at the 19-yard line. It'll be a 29-yard attempt. Jordan Walker with the hold. Garcia's missed 2 extra points thus far. We'll see what the Lindale defense can do. Snap back, hold is down. Garcia gets the kick off, and he makes it as he drills it this time. With no time left on the clock, Palestine pulls to within 12 with a field goal and big success for the Wildcats to end this first half. 37-25, Lindale. We come back. We're at the half, and we return.
You come for the food and you stay for the experience. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, a mile off Interstate 20 on FM 849 in Lindale. Come hungry because the barbecue portions are generous and the atmosphere is the best in East Texas, including live music on the stage in Hackberry Hall. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House combines great barbecue, craft beers, signature cocktails, and live music for a one-of-a-kind experience. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, 15338 FM 849 in Lindale, and on the web at brisketlovetx.com.
Backing the Lindale Football Eagles now as he did back then. Eagle Chiropractic is owned and operated by former Lindale Eagles center, Dr. Shane Allen. A class of 1989 graduate, Dr. Allen is an expert in chiropractic and nutritional health counseling. His expertise in these areas assist him in helping patients reduce and even eliminate migraine headaches, neck pain, back pain, and joint pain of all levels, both acute and chronic. Eagle Chiropractic offers therapeutic exercises, nutritional supplements, and analgesic creams, along with educational consultations and follow-up to assure continued support and confidence in a healthy lifestyle that is pain-free. Eagle Chiropractic, Highway 69 in Lindale, open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturdays. Call for an appointment and consultation at 903-881-5172. Eagle Chiropractic, making people better every day.
If you're looking to advance and improve your baseball or softball skills and overall game with the hopes of moving on to the next level, Marucci Elite East Texas is the premier select organization to do just that. Hi folks, I'm Derek Kraft, current minor league pitcher for the New York Yankees and coach for Marucci Elite. Head coaches Mike Holochuk and Jeff Casey take over 35 years of coaching experience to the field each year, showcasing East Texas's finest baseball and softball talent. Marucci Elite East Texas has proven itself to be the best at directly focusing on player development and the recruitment of its athletes. You can follow them anytime and learn more about Marucci Elite East Texas through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at METXETX. That's METXETX for Marucci Elite East Texas.
It's like moving from an old office into a brand new office. Trade up your current office furniture to brand new furniture from Office Barn in Tyler.
Office Barn buys new and used furniture by the truckloads.
We will also upgrade the look of your office by exchanging your current furniture for new digs.
Maximize your office space with our space planning services, including field measurement, design, and a 3D diagram. Office Barn can even reconfigure existing cubicles for office space.
More desks than the Pentagon. 1,000 plus chairs. Conference room tables, lobby furniture, storage cabinets, cubicles.
I'm John Longcrier. We ship anywhere with next day delivery in East Texas. Buy it in the box and save even more. Discounts for nonprofits, veterans, and first responders. Plus, office moving done right the first time.
Between Lindale and Tyler on Highway 69, across from the big, big American flag.
You name it, OB stocks it.
Office Barn.
The summer of 2022 has been tough on everyone, especially those that were without a top-performing HVAC system. Rose City Air was created by Will Decker and Heath Willingham after they experienced plenty of too little, too late scenarios, with two objectives in mind: service and educate consumers on the most efficient ways to maintain a healthy AC unit correctly the first time and eliminate the anxiety of second and third opinions and repairs. Rose City Air takes the time to show you the complexities of maintaining a top-notch HVAC system while the estimate and assessment is being done. Rose City Air's free estimates, 24-hour
no-hassle emergency services, low-cost maintenance agreements, and discounts for veterans, first responders, and educators are why Rose City Air wants to service your home or business whenever the need arises. 903-630-4343 or go to rosecityairtx.com.
You know that old saying that a man's number one job is to protect his family? Well, that's exactly what my dad had in mind when he founded Beeler Roofing in the late 1970s. Well, now it's 2022 and it's still the backbone of why Beeler Roofing continues to take care of families and businesses' new roofs, full roof replacements, and even simple roof repairs. We still welcome a good old personal phone call to set up a free roof assessment, and we take a lot of pride and enjoyment from making our customers feel better about being home. Plus, we can even help you navigate the insurance process. This is Brooks Beeler, Lindale class 1989, and very proud to support your Lindale Eagles again this year. Find us on the web at BeelerRoofing.com or call us at 903-347-8484. Beeler Roofing, our family protecting your family from the top down for over 40 years.
Alford's Tire Brake and Alignment is going all in with the 2022 Lindale Eagles. Safety first is not only common sense when it comes to your transportation, it should be the top priority anytime it comes to the overall protection of your family. Safety checks on your basic brake and tire conditions or need for maintenance on your AC system is paramount during the heat of a 2022 summer. Offers Tire, Brake, and Alignment puts the entire family name behind making sure you stay stress-free on the road year-round. You'll find tire replacements for all size tires, even lawn mowers. Lift kits and auto accessories are installed right there. And in some cases, while you wait, Alford's Tire, Brake, and Alignment, Highway 69, 4 miles south of I-20 in Tyler. AlfordsBrakeandAlignment.com.
Hey, Doc Deason here, Lindale class of 1990 with Real Edge Real Estate in Tyler. You can find me online at DocDeasonRealEstate.com. You know, after this summer, anything associated with fall is going to be welcome throughout the season, especially Lindale High School football. It's an honor for me to again partner with my friend of 30 years, your play-by-play man, Kenny Smith. There's nothing in this country quite like Texas high school football, and you need to know we're partaking in a legendary pastime right now. But when the game's over, if you need some help with real estate, give me a shout. Don't hesitate. 903-262-8680. That's 262-8680. Again, I'm fellow Eagle Doc Deason. Thanks for listening.
Back at Eagle Stadium, we're at the half right now. Kenny Smith, Coach Alan Phillips, Dusty Swope by my side. Before we get to our halftime numbers, Dusty's going to review what we had in the first half, but a crazy great happening for the Lindale Athletic Department earlier today. We got to send out huge congratulations to the Lindale High School tennis team. They beat Wills Point for the Region 2 Team Tennis Championship. Eagles are now going to advance to the state team tennis tournament to be played at Texas A&M for this next Wednesday. Congratulations to Coach Nemani, also Coach Rogers, Coach Anders, the rest of the Eagle tennis players bringing home a state championship, hopefully starting on Wednesday. Evidently, it was an unbelievable finish for the tennis team for this opportunity to play for a state championship. So big congratulations for the Lindale High School tennis team as they are continuing a long tradition of excellence within the athletic departments here at Lindale High School as well. We're at the half. It's a 37-25 lead for the Lindale Eagles. And at the half, we're going to go to Dusty Swope and find out what our numbers are like. This week, Dusty, I know it's a lot more even than we saw a week ago against Chapel Hill, but let's take a look at the breakdown.
Elijah Walker's leading the way with Palestine, and it's funny, Kenny, after the first drive, Walker had 51 yards on 6 carries. I was kind of concerned. How are they going to stop this guy?
Yeah.
Well, the whole second half, our first half, he only had 5 yards until the 83-yard run. So he's got 11 carries, 141 yards, 2 TDs. Wilson has 5 carries, 13 yards. And Hudson Deere in the passing games, he is 3 for 6 for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. On Lindale's side, Clint Thurman has been leading the way. He is 8 rushes, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Patrick Daniels, 8 carries, 45 yards, 2 touchdowns. Thurman in passing is 8 for 11, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns. He says Marcus Field once for 14 yards, Patrick Daniels once for 14 yards, and Romero 3 for 43 yards. They have 330 total yards offense, and Thurman accounts for 262 yards.
Oh, my. So we're looking at probably 70% of the offense still Clint Thurman.
Yes.
And not a surprise for week after week. Well, they're holding on to that 37-25 lead. It was a 10-point swing as Lindale had the football back with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Clint Thurman getting flushed after dropping the snap and trying to throw it out of bounds. Threw it short. Palestine intercepted, bringing it back inside the 10-yard line, but could not capitalize. Had to rely on a Alex Garcia 29-yard field goal to push the deficit to 37-25, and that is where we stand at the half. Lindale Eagles leading Palestine at the half. We'll take a timeout, and we will come back. Second half kickoff just around the corner with OnTheCall.net.
It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alfred's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alfred's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alfred's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout. It's halftime of tonight's game broadcast. Tonight's Lindale Eagle game broadcast is brought to you by Alford's Tire, Rose City Air, Root Construction, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Marucci Elite East Texas, Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate, Beeler Roofing, The Office Barn, and Eagle Chiropractic. The second half will kick off after the short timeout.
got it.
Second half kickoff just around the corner, 37-25 for the Lindale Eagles right now as the Palestine Wildcats will kick off to the Eagles to start the second half. It was a long, and we apologize, long and drawn-out halftime, but it was absolutely well worth it as they recognized all the senior band members tonight as they had their own senior night tonight and got a chance to get introduced, have their parents on the field. So first of all, before we get to the second half kickoff, let's go to Dusty with a game break and some scores.
Oh, boy, it's a quick game in Kaufman. Maybank is getting beat right now 17-7, but it's already the fourth quarter. Chapel Hill has come some alive. It's 21-10 there at halftime, and Kilgore is over Athens 20-0.
That is crazy. I mean, from what we've seen, and Dusty, unfortunately, you haven't got to see either one of those teams this year, but to be that low scoring right now for both those football teams is pretty amazing. So second half underway. Palestine will kick off from left to right. Garcia will tee it up at the 40-yard line, and he will kick it deep, and it will go once again. Both three returners for the Lindale Eagles are set up at the 15-yard line, so Patrick Daniels and Alex Romero will just run backwards and watch the football hit in the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. 25-yard line, they'll bring the football out, 1st and 10. Anything at halftime, obviously, Allen, defense had a couple of breakdowns with those long plays, obviously, and with the interception, but kept them out of the end zone. At least that's the positive you can take in to the locker room for the defense there.
Yeah, get them out twice. You know, they had them. They ran the kickoff down there that one time and got down, then the red zone and held them out, and then the same thing on the interception.
And the interception was by Ty Crawford, by the way. We were unable to see his number, but Ty Crawford with the interception for Palestine, only turnover in the game. Right out of the starting gate and trying to make the catch, Patrick Daniels will do so, but his knee touched the ground right at the 25-yard line where he had the okay, they're going to say it was incomplete. Thank you, Dusty.
That was an interesting play. It looked like it was they put the running back in motion to flood that zone and just had him go out like a read pattern.
Yeah. Well, Patrick Daniels was open momentarily, but the ball touched the ground as he caught it. Daniels straight up the middle on the handoff by Thurman, and Patrick will pick up about 4 or 5 up to the 29-yard line. We'll see. And boy, locked up in a block as Corey Watts threw his guy all the way back to the 30-yard line. Now, flag comes in well after the play on the far side as Corey Watts, I think, got himself a takedown, and the defender was not happy with that. The officials will huddle up right at the 29 where Patrick Daniels got pulled down for a 4-yard gain. But we'll wait for this penalty call. Tyler Chapter tonight, referee Jerry Maynard, will walk his way over. They've had some trouble with his microphone tonight. We'll see if we can pick this up real quick.
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit, number 10.
Well, they're going to call the personal foul. A late hit will be called against Reese Hargers. And Hargers will get the personal foul 15-yard mark off. So instead of the 4-yard gain by Patrick Daniels, that will nullify that. They'll take the 15 on the penalty. Only 3 flags against Palestine in this ball game. That is their third. 2 flags against Lindale, 2 flags for 20 yards against the Eagles, and now 2 for 30 yards. Make that 3 for 30 yards. Thurman's going to go deep near sideline, but only one back there is in a white jersey and tackled back at the 15-yard line. I think he stepped out of bounds, and flag is going to come down at the snap. And Dusty, with his hand signals, is trying to tell me he knows what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a free play. The whole defensive line jumped off sides, and Thurman just threw it up just to see what would happen.
The things that was happened that you've missed all year that Thurman has been an artist on all season long is every time a free play happens, they either get a touchdown or a big play. So offside on the snap, so mark off the 5 yards. Dusty, you're so intuitive. He's right on top of things, Alan.
Yep, he's there.
So back to
back. He stole my thunder. I didn't get to tell you that.
Yeah, killed it.
That's okay. You can say whatever you want, bro.
So 2 snaps, 2 penalties against the Wildcats. Set up Lindale 1st and 5 from midfield. Man in motion is Daniels. Thurman's going to throw it to Patrick Daniels and throws it over his head this time. So, boy, they had a play called, and Daniels was open. Perry Cole was coming in for a possible tackle, but Daniels had the angle to the outside. Marcus Field was already locked up with his defender downfield with a downfield block, but, boy, Clint just threw it way over the head.
Yeah, I think that was the same play they tried to run all ago when it hit the ground before it got to him. So the Lindale coaches saw something there.
Wide side of the field, too. Handoff, Daniels going far side. Daniels picks up big yards. May have got the 5 for the first down. He will, up to the 45-yard line of the Wildcats. First down of the second half for the Eagles, right at the 45-yard line. Marcus Field stays split out. Now Alex Romero will split out with him in the slot to the left side. Set up in the eye with Daniels a few steps behind Clint Thurman. Standing at midfield. Turns around, hands off. Daniels going to try left side this time. And is bolted down right at the 43-yard line by the Palestine defense, that time led by Ivan Chavez, and a number we do not have on the roster. As Chavez and a number 76 is on the field right now with Hector Ruiz Ciraldi. So we're short a couple of probably newcomers in that late edition.
I'm telling you, as long as it takes Palestine to run a play, Lindale's trying to run one as fast as they can.
Well, it would work in their favor if they get the officials to get this ball in motion. This is not the fastest officiating crew we've ever seen.
They ran the play to go for the first down marker set, so I think they're slowing them down to get them all set.
Well, they get them set now, and the officials have literally stalled the game right now. The referee is nowhere near position. And even Lance Angel over on the other sideline, and now they're getting the markers. Now they're going to move up and say that this is a 1st and 10 from the 48.
Uh-oh, something's wrong there.
So now we're all confused. Or make it the 43-yard line. So, okay, they finally get the stakes done. Okay, they get the down marker done, and we're back at it. 1st and 10, snap back to Thurman. Thurman following his blockers, cuts it outside 35-30, up to the 25, out of bounds at the 22-yard line. And a little late exchange also as Patrick Daniels and Ty Crawford locked up around the 25. Crawford started to come after Daniels, and Daniels just very smartly turned and ran back into the huddle. So they set up quickly. 1st and 10 on the long run by Clint Thurman. Sets him up 1st and 10 to the 22. Fake handoff. Daniels play action throws complete to Marcus Field at the 12-yard line, and that's where he'll be brought down by 3 defenders. Marcus Field with a completion at the 12, and they're going to say forward progress to the 11, and they'll move the chains again.
Well, they're playing off of them. I think they fear that fade pattern a little bit, and them playing off is able to run those little short stops.
Quick throw. Thurman to Field at the 10, at the 5. Cuts at the 5. Brought down, it's knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Field looked like he was going to plant, try to turn back into the field.
We do have a flag down.
And a flag down at the 10-yard line, and they came in late as well. And a Palestine player stays on a knee right where the flag was thrown at the 8-yard line. And now linesman will come in and hand the call, and Lindale offense is starting to move backwards. It'll be a block in the back. And it'll be against Marcus Field on the near sideline. And staying down on the play, now getting back up. Gerald Ragland will get back up and walk his way back to his position. That won't be Ragland, it'll be Shedrick Dudley, as he may have been the recipient of that block in the back. So they'll back it up to the 20, right at the 20-yard line. So 1st and 20 now from the 20. Make it 1st and 19 now. We're going to mark it spot foul. Man in motion and turning. Thurman will fake the pass. Comes upfield. 15, 10. Turns the corner. 5 touchdown. Clint Thurman, no flags that time. A 20-yard touchdown sprint for Clint Thurman. His 3rd touchdown of the night.
You know, they have Caleb Hart in that play, and they have him motioning out to the left side where there's nobody out there because they have a tight end on that side. And when he gets out there, he makes just a tiny little block, but enables Thurman to break to the outside to make a touchdown.
And now I'm going to ask you this rules-wise, because there's been times we've seen these running backs turn upfield just a bit before the snap of the football. That's not a procedure penalty?
They can't. It is a procedure penalty.
Okay.
But it probably depends on how far back they are, because sometimes they'll go backwards and then come forward. But they cannot turn up the field, or it is a procedure problem.
Okay, well, they get the extra point by Seth Baggett, and Lindale on the field and on the scoreboard again to start the second half. 44-25 Eagles. We come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
His #1 job is to protect his family. Well, that's exactly what my dad had in mind when he founded Beeler Roofing in the late 1970s. Well, now it's 2022, and it's still the backbone of why Beeler Roofing continues to take care of families and businesses' new roofs, full roof replacements, and even simple roof repairs. We still welcome a good old personal phone call to set up a free roof assessment, and we take a lot of pride and enjoyment from making our customers feel better about being home. Plus, we can even help you navigate the insurance process. This is Brooks Beeler, Lindale class 1989, and very proud to support your Lindale Eagles again this year. Find us on the web at BeelerRoofing.com or call us at 903-347-8484. Beeler Roofing, our family protecting your family from the top down for over 40 years.
Thank you, Brooks Beeler. Seth Baggett will kick it deep this time, all the way back 4 yards deep in the end zone. And Wilson's going to fumble it. He can't get his hands on the retrieving end of the kick from Seth Baggett, as Baggett just tunned it halfway into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback, starting 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Palestine Wildcats have still got a couple of games to go, as they will be home against Henderson next Friday, the 28th, and then November 4th, it'll be at Athens to finish up their season. Lindale Eagles will have tonight's ball game, and with playing 10 straights, and boy, nothing like getting a nice break before the playoffs begin, as they will all be traveling to Jacksonville a week from tonight and heading to Indian territory at the famous Tomato Bowl next Friday night against Jacksonville. 1st and 10, Deere takes the snap, first handoff, first man through and plastering over Ryan Betts. And the first handoff goes to Elijah Walker. Walker puts Betts on his backside, but he's got help from his defense, and Walker will get pulled down for a gain of only 3.
Ooh, Ryan Betts, you're right. He did take a big hit on that one. That running back gets a little running start and gets right at him.
Well, that's when you're glad you got teammates. It's okay to take a hit if your other boys put the hit on him right after.
Somebody needs to tell him he needs to get down there in those knees and not up high.
I think it's the way of the times. Everybody goes right up around the shoulder pads at first instead of going for the legs. Deere sets him up. Short side of the field. It's a deep pitch to Walker. 30-yard line, and Walker is dishing out the punishment, but this time down around his ankles is Ryan Betts. On cue, as Betts goes down around Walker's ankles and holds him for the rest of his defense, and he pulls him down for another 3-yard gain. But that time, boy, Walker is just decided to throw his shoulder into everybody that gets close.
Ugh. He's not tiny. He's a pretty big boy.
Well, he gets up a nice head of speed. And Elijah Walker is no pushover. 84 for 516 and 8 touchdowns on the season for Walker. And they're just going straight ahead against this Lindale defense. Wilson split out wide to the right side. Deere hands off. This time Walker again. Walker runs right into, again, number 3. Ryan Betts, I think, has got some kind of thing going where he's just said, you know what, I'm going to take the guy on.
You know, a lot of times when you're playing in the secondary, your coaches will have you read tackles, or guards to see who they block, and if they block a pass block or a run block. And if they get that run block, they can come up quickly.
Well, good play by Betts, but he gets enough for the first down. So first down for the Palestine Wildcats. Only 5 first downs in the first half. 8:27 to go, third quarter. Handoff, first man through. Lindale defense is right there. And getting up on the back side of the play. We'll wait till they all get up off the pile, and I'll tell you who pulled him down first. And Gabe Hart is in with the tackle. Actually was the first man to grab him from the back of the jersey, and Gabe just fell down, and with his weight, he just kept him from going forward. No gain.
Yeah, and that whole defensive line did a great job of stacking that up.
Hunter Deere, he goes off the field. Hudson Deere goes off the field to get the play from Coach Lance Angel before every play. They'll split Kamari Gibson out wide to the left side. Ball in the middle of the field. Handoff to Walker. Walker gets bull rushed by Jake Curbo. Curbo pulls him down all the way back at the 17-yard line.
I think that was supposed to be what would come to be a buck sweep pass. And what we mean by buck sweep is they're gonna fake the trap. They're gonna give it to the running back coming to the wing side. You remember earlier we talked about Jake Curbo's lined up over that wing, that wing released out and left him wide open to go make the tackle.
That's the second time we've seen that handoff to where it actually looks like Tashawn Wilson is trying to set up to pass. He doesn't immediately accelerate when he gets the handoff, and he's trying to position the ball to make a pass. Kerbo was all over him from the get-go. Huge loss. Deere, straight drop back. Going to go to throw to Wilson. Wilson near sideline, comes down over the shoulder catch. That ball took forever to come down, and LeGros knocks him out of bounds, but it is a first down on a massive pass of 37 yards. Over the shoulder catch by Tashawn Wilson. LeGros knocks him out of bounds, and somehow he got that ball. It took forever to come down. It looked like a punt.
I think Hudson thought the ball had already been thrown the other way or had been tackled because it looked like he lost the ball there for a second. That's all it took.
Well, they let Wilson get in behind him. As Tashawn Wilson, 16 catches, 203 yards on the season. This guy's averaging almost 13 yards a catch. Deere throwing it, this time complete again to Wilson at the 40-yard line. It'll be a 4-yard completion to Wilson. Wilson, 2 catches, 101 yards. After the big touchdown catch earlier in the second quarter of 64 yards for the touchdown.
Well, Hudson LeGros was there to make the tackle on that one also.
Well, LeGros going to come off the field now. And coming on, it'll be Aiden Warnell. Aiden getting his first snaps along with Caleb Hart. Jeremiah Bloomsma came up a week ago. Christian Petway on the roster for tonight's game, a 6'4", 295-pound junior. Handoff, first man through, this time at probably the biggest hole that Tristan Gardner has seen all night. He'll pick up 5. It'll get him up inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, a yard short of the first down.
Brady Bowman was on that tackle. Got him from behind, held on.
Well, Brady saw a lot of playing time in the ball game at Athens, and Bowman comes sprinting off the field after making a play, as does Joe Richard. And they'll split one receiver wide out to the left side. Ball in the middle of the field. Nobody split right. Everybody inside the tackles except for wide out Kamari Gibson. Straight drop back near. Noah's going to hand off to Walker. Walker breaks across the initial line of scrimmage, gets plenty for the first down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Give him 5 on the carry, and Palestine on the move again inside the 30.
Well, I'm telling you, the secondary is having to come up and make tackles for Lindale. You know, we talked about this, that when they get in that power offense and they have the whole team within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, you know, and your secondary guys are making those tackles. You don't want that to happen.
Well, probably the most impressive drive for the Wildcats since their opening drive when they took a 6-0 lead. Dual tight end set. Deere fakes a handoff. Play action pass. He's by himself. He gets pressured and hit. Throws. Caught. Complete at the 5-yard line. Well, a fantastic catch downfield by Kamari Gibson and a better throw by Hudson Deere, who was covered up, got hit right before he released the football, and then popped right when he got rid of it.
Well, that's the old bootleg play out of that wing tee where they fake the trap, fake the butt sweep. He is guy in the flat, guy in the middle, and guy deep, and he hits the deep guy who made a really good catch because he was covered.
That's 24-yard reception for Kamari Gibson, sets up Palestine. 1st and 10 from the Lindale 5-yard line. Ball far hash mark. They'll come out with a double tight end set with a tight slot in Gibson. Deere turns around, hands off to Walker, right off the right tackle. Walker gets stymied at around the 2-yard line. They're trying to push him into the end zone, and second effort, he will go in for the score. Well, that was another one of those help from the offensive lineman after he gets stopped at the 3.
You know, back in the days when I played, you could not help a runner, especially if you were from behind and pushing. But nowadays, I don't think that's the rule because they're always helping push and everything else.
Well, back in your day, you had to get extra sized up for the leather helmets, didn't you?
I was fixing to say we had leather helmets and canvas shoes.
and you had Hershey bars and Coca-Colas at halftime.
Yeah, my coaches were smoking cigarettes on the side.
Garcia sets up for the extra point, and it's up and it's good. So Palestine ends a very impressive drive with a couple of long pass plays. One to Kamari Gibson and the other two to Tashawn Wilson, who gets him into scoring position. 4:16 to go. It's a 44-32 lead for the Eagles. And we come back. Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
Hey, Doc Deason here, Lindale class of 1990 with Real Edge Real Estate in Tyler. You can find me online at docdeasonrealestate.com. You know, after this summer, anything associated with fall is going to be welcome throughout the season, especially Lindale High School football. It's an honor for me to again partner with my friend of 30 years, your play-by-play man, Kenny Smith. There's nothing in this country quite like Texas high school football, and you need to know we're partaking in a legendary pastime right now. But when the game's over, if you need some help with real estate, give me a shout. Don't hesitate. 903-262-8680. That's 262-8680. Again, I'm fellow Eagle Doc Deason. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for being here, Doc Deason, as he has been since day one. We've been doing this with onthecall.net. Let's swing over to the Studio B and get a scoring update with Dusty Swope.
Kaufman's up on Maybank 31-7. Kilgore 27-7 over Athens, and Chapel Hill 34-10 over Henderson.
Okay, it sounds like the offense is finally clicking there for the Chapel Hill Bulldogs. 4:16 to go, and Garcia will kick it a laser shot that hits at the 7 and into the end zone. Boy, Alex Romero, I think, was trying to make a play. That was a knuckleball kick and just could not make that catch, as that would have been a great returnable kick, man, right there at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, but I think if he put his hands up and hit that ball, it might have broke his hand.
Oh, yeah, it was a laser shot, a knuckleball turnover for the kick from Alex Garcia. Lindale up 44-32 right now. That's behind 3 touchdowns by Clint Thurman, a 19-yard run, an 8-yard run, and a 20-yard run. All those coming in consecutive quarters, first, second, and third. Patrick Daniels with a 6-yard run, a 3-yard run. He's got 2 scores, and Ethan Moriarty with a 26-yard reception. Top off the scoring for the Eagles. Clint Thurman sets him up first and 10 at the 25 near hash. Puts Field in motion. Hands off to Hart, coming near side 25. Up to the 30 and hurdles over a tackler. And Caleb Hart plus over a tackler behind a block by Christian Petway.
Yeah, Jordan Walker for Palestine made that tackle from.
And they set him up. Hart sets him up after a gain of 7. Hand off to Hart again, straight up the middle. And Hart picks up a first down across the 35 up to the 37. I know you have to be quiet sometimes on the sideline, Alan, but boy, when you see some guys come up from the junior varsity and they make immediate contributions, man, it's hard not to get excited for these kids.
You don't see that very often. A lot of times, unless you just have a kid that, is borderline, but for these kids to come up and play like they are is pretty good.
And they're looking pretty good. Thurman going to throw far side. Caught at the 35 to the 40. Upfield to the 30, 45, and blown up out of bounds. And way out of bounds. But making contact inbounds. Boy, Ethan Moriarty with the catch. And great pursuit up the field. And just gets buried after a 9-yard pickup on the pass.
Yeah, Reese Hargers is the one that made the tackle, and he did light him up.
Boy, it took Clint Thurman was trying to get a signal from the sideline on the audible. Hand off to Hart. No, Thurman's going to keep it. No, he'll hand off to Hart. Great play fake by Thurman. I think he might change his mind, as Thurman had all day to run had he kept the ball, but he handed off to Hart, and Hart picks up another first down for the Lindale offense.
It'd be interesting to know if they have a replay off of that or a keep off of it, because like you said, I saw that earlier in the game where if he'd kept it, he could have rolled.
Well, Hart getting some substantial carries here. 1st and 10 Eagles, going right to left at their own 48-yard line. Trips receivers to the left, wide side of the field, so a lot of running room. Hart goes in motion to the right, going to throw it out into the flats to Moriarty, and he is cut under immediately as Moriarty gets blown up for no gain. They're going to stop him at the 48-yard line. Marcus Field was unable to get a body on Jordan Walker, who just took Moriarty's legs out from under him.
Yeah, Jordan Walker, he made a great play on that, was able to make that tackle. That's what you want that defensive back to be able to do, is take on that little single block and be able to come up and make a tackle.
Well, if you're the guy that's responsible to block him, boy, you got to make a break on him really quick. Handoff straight up the middle. It's Hart again, and Hart almost got the ball stripped out of his hands as he pulled it back and double clutched it at the 45-yard line of Palestine. Another good gain by Hart. He picks up 7 up to the 45. Caleb Hart's making his mark right now. 7 carries, 44 yards. Taking off right up the middle again with the handoff, and Palestine saying they've got the football and the ball was loose. They're waiting for a call right now. Umpire and the linesman have
yet to make a call, even though one of the Palestine Wildcats came out of the pile with the football.
You know, that's one of the things you got to realize. Yeah,
and now they're saying it's Palestine football. Well, I'm not real sure what they were talking about. It looked rather uncomfortable as all four officials waited for each other to come to each other, and they talked about it, and then they turned around and said something to referee Jerry Maynard, and Jerry is the one that said it's Palestine football.
That's one of those things where they're looking at each other.
I'm not real sure.
Let's flip a coin and see who gets the ball.
It did not look good from an official standpoint. I think when they look back on this game film, they're probably going to see that was a little uncomfortable there for both teams. So Palestine will get what looks like a fumble by Hart up the middle. Handoff to Walker. Walker again deals up some punishment on that defensive line and picks up 4 hard yards at the 47-yard line.
Ryan Stanton was the one that got run over that time. He made the tackle, just got bowled over backwards, but held on.
Tackle made by Ryan Stanton.
Well, this is the third straight game the Lindale Eagles have been victims of at least 2 turnovers. But that one, like we said, boy, if you see that on film, that looked very strange from an official standpoint, as the 2 officials closest to the football could not make a decision whose ball it was. Minute 30 to go, third quarter. Deere, straight drop back, looking left. Boy, he's scrambling, he's going to get pulled down way back in the backfield. And that might be, it could be, it is Wyatt Parker. He finally gets a sack back at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it took Wyatt Parker, put him on a little blitz from the outside. He's able to get the quarterback.
Parker's second on this team in total tackles with 41. He's got a couple for loss, but he'll pick up his first sack of the season back at the 35-yard line. So, Alan, that's just 3 times that we've seen this defense come through with a big play, following a big play on an offensive stand for Palestine, and they knock him back 3rd and 18 from the 35-yard line. Deere fumbled the snap and has to fall on it.
Well, I'm telling you what, that's a big defensive stand right there for Lindale's defense, because they gave up the score the first time they had the ball. Offense fumbled the ball, and then they're able to stop them here to get them to punt, which is going to get that ball back in Lindale's hands.
Yeah, that's a big fumble on the snap, too, because that was on a 3rd and 18. Now it'll be 4th and 19 for Palestine, and Lance Angel has yet to call his team off the field. And they're going to go ahead and let this third quarter clock come to a close before he makes a decision. So third quarter will come to a stop when we come back. Lindale Eagles leading Palestine 44-32. Fourth quarter next with OnTheCall.net.
Backing the Lindale Football Eagles now as he did back then. Eagle Chiropractic is owned and operated by former Lindale Eagles center, Dr. Shane Allen. A class of 1989 graduate, Dr. Allen is an expert in chiropractic and nutritional health counseling. His expertise in these areas assists him in helping patients reduce and even eliminate migraine headaches, neck pain, back pain, and joint pain of all levels, both acute and chronic. Eagle Chiropractic offers therapeutic exercises, nutritional supplements, and analgesic creams, along with educational consultations and follow-up to assure continued support and confidence in a healthy lifestyle that is pain-free. Eagle Chiropractic, Highway 69 in Lindale, open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturdays. Call for an appointment and consultation at 903-881-5172. Eagle Chiropractic, making people better every day.
All right, I think it's just comic relief, one of the major reasons why I do wonder how Dusty Swope does on Friday nights, being without us and everything. But Dusty has just brought up a great point. Alan, Perry Cole, bless his heart, has had a rough night tonight. He's averaging 6 yards a punt. Ball is rolled back on the snap. Cole gets off a good punt this time. Hits at the 38-yard line and rolls out of bounds at around the 30-yard line. So Perry is not having the rough night as the deep snapper Ty Stedman is having tonight.
Well, he's probably sitting back there going, okay, is it going to roll to me or is it going to go over my head?
How am I going to need to be ready for this one, man? Oh, my. So they get the ball back. Lindale will get it 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line with a 44-32 lead and 11:52 to go. First plays of the fourth quarter, as Lance Angel just let that clock roll out and made the decision to go ahead and punt it. And boy, Perry Cole actually sets up very deep for a punter. By himself in the backfield, Clint Thurman will now put a man in motion, and he'll keep it going to the short side of the field. Follows a blocker to the 35 and stays on his feet across to the 37. So Clint Thurman's still not afraid to run with the football, whether he's got traffic or not.
Well, I'm sure that Coach Cochran, the offensive coordinator, Coach Cochran, is thinking, hey, I'll put the ball in his hands and let him hang on to it and just gain first downs, run that clock down.
Well, a big congratulations to Lance Angel again, as last week moved into second place with the most wins in school history with 44. Snap back, Thurman takes it himself. Straight up the middle, he's breaking loose, 45 midfield. Goes to the outside 40, 35-30. Stutter stamp and knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line. From where we stand all the time, it never looks like Clint Thurman really has a lot of room to run, Alan, but his vision has worked out so well for him all season long.
Yeah, he does have excellent vision, and he doesn't have great speed, but he's able to get a little spurt to him to get out the outside and make some good yardage.
46-yard run for Clint Thurman puts him well over 100 yards for the day. 11:10 to go. 1st and 10, Lindale Eagles. Handoff, Daniels up the middle. Big yardage for Patrick Daniels across the 20, inside the 20 possibly. They're going to say he's about a half yard short of the first down. Give him 9 on the carry. We'll wait and see if they go ahead and move the sticks.
Ty Crawford came up, made the tackle on that one for Palestine.
Crawford with that interception late in the second quarter that turned into 3 points for Alex Garcia for Palestine. One of 2 turnovers for the Eagles tonight, but they are on the move again, just inside the 20. Snap low to Thurman, but he hands off to Daniels to the 10 to the 5. Patrick Daniels making a fantastic move on a fantastic block by Corey Watts downfield, but a flag down is going to bring this one back.
I was wondering if you were going to say that because it was a great block, and boy, what a cut.
All right, well, it's going to be on Trey Maseratian. Maseratian will get the holding call. And, boy, it's right on the other side of Corey Watts, who plastered his man way off the play. But Patrick Daniels made a great read, got right to the back of Corey Watts, planted that right foot, and jetted up into the end zone, but that will come back. So it'll set up a 2nd and 11 now, back at the 30-yard line. Man in motion is Sullivan. Keeper for Clint Thurman. Thurman with big yardage again. Thurman picks up 10 up to the 20-yard line, right where they started a play ago. So he gets the penalty yardage back on 2nd down. It'll set up a 3rd and a very short, less than a yard.
3rd down and 1 for Lindale.
So the Eagles will set up middle of the field. Football, dual receivers left and right, or make that single receiver in field. Faking the handoff, play action. Clint Thurman going to roll to his right, gets to the numbers. To the 15, spin move inside the 15. He gets the first down and still trying to churn for extra yardage, and he works his way to the 14-yard line, make it the 13.
That was a little bootleg play. Then he faked it to the running back and came to his right side. And as he's sprinting out here, I'm thinking, dude, run with the ball. Just get the first down. You ain't got to throw that thing.
Well, you don't have to give Clint Thurman any extra reasons to make the right choice, because we have seen only, I think, one time, and we saw that 2 weeks ago against Kilgore, where it looked like he had 14 for 226.
Yeah.
Clint Thurman, 14 carries, 226 yards. I think he eclipsed 100 yards a long time ago, Dusty. Handoff, Daniels can go wide, bounces outside, but gets met by a couple of white jerseys as he had the wide side of the field to go. But, boy, Daniels got bared down on by 2 white jerseys. We're not going to let him get to the outside. Back there with the tackle, Gerald Ragland ended up forcing him back inside and getting help.
He probably should have cut that back up to the inside where they had a little bit of step on him to the outside.
Well, Ragland's going to go from the far out to the left to cover up Moriarty, back out to his safety position. Snap back to Thurman, keeper. Thurman gets a nice block on the outside, crossing the 5. He bounces into the end zone. I'm telling you, this kid looks like he's going to go down any time, and somehow he gets away from whoever's in front of him and finds extra yardage for pay dirt, and he follows right in behind a Casey Poe plaster block at the 10.
I'm going to tell you one of the things about him when he runs to the ball. If you'll notice, his shoulder pads are out in front of him. He doesn't run straight up. He's got his shoulder pads over, so he's going to do a little bit of giving the hit to somebody else when he runs with the ball.
Okay, is that technique, Alan? Is that taught? Is that a thing that?
Yes. You watch a running back sometimes when they stand straight up and they're running the ball and they get the snot knocked out of them.
Well, Seth Baggett has just missed his first extra point of the season. He had a bobbled snap where it got missed earlier in the year. But Baggett will miss the extra point. It is a 50-32 lead for the Lindale Eagles. 9:09 to go over Palestine when we come back.
If you're looking to advance and improve your baseball or softball skills and overall game with the hopes of moving on to the next level, Marucci Elite East Texas is the premier select organization to do just that. Hi folks, I'm Derek Kraft, current minor league pitcher for the New York Yankees and coach for Marucci Elite. Head coaches Mike Holichuk and Jeff Casey take over 35 years of coaching experience to the field each year, showcasing East Texas's finest baseball and softball talent. Marucci Elite East Texas has proven itself to be the best at directly focusing on player development and the recruitment of its athletes. You can follow them anytime and learn more about Marucci Elite East Texas through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at METXETX. That's METXETX for Marucci Elite East Texas.
You got updated scores? Back at Eagle Stadium, the Lindale Eagles will force Palestine into a bit of a desperation situation here for the Wildcats. Eagles right now are working on some great momentum after a defensive stop and coming back with a touchdown. Another touchdown by Clint Thurman, his fourth of the night. All of those on the ground as Thurman with a 19-yard run, 8, 20, and 14-yard runs, well over 220 yards on the night. And Palestine will return the kickoff up to the 32-yard line. They will call a fair catch there at the 20-32. 9:08 to go. Lindale with a 50-32 lead over Palestine, and what turned out to be a critical situation for the Eagles. They've got to take both these final two games to get good playoff positioning. Deep snap, going to go to Gardner. Gardner going to try to get wide, and he gets wide to the out-of-bounds spot right at the first down marker, or where they have the first down marker right now, as he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Great play strung out by the Lindale defense.
Yeah, he never could get the edge to get along to the sideline and run up it, so it was a good job by the defense.
I'd still love to see this offense just run a power sweep, old Green Bay Packers power sweep situation, where you got Jerry Thurston, and Forrest Gregg leading the way.
Forrest Gregg.
That'll bring some names back to guys old enough for me and Alan to understand. Looked like play action, but handoff first man through. Lindale defense stuffs him for maybe a 1-2 yard gain. Unfortunately for whoever was running with the football, and it may have been Walker, he had half his offensive line who are rather healthy fall right on top of him, led by Hector Ruiz-Seraldi.
Lindale did a great job of piling that up in the front. There was no lane for him to run in.
Well, substitutions coming onto the field. Brady Bowman comes sprinting off. That guy has got so much spirit. Love watching this guy leave the football field.
He does that every time.
He does, man. He gets off. It's his turn to get off. He does not want to be called for a penalty for being slow. Lindale defense sets up dual receivers to the left, one to the right. Dare straight drop back play action. And whistle blows immediately. Lance Angel wants a timeout with 8:12 to go. Something obviously caught him way off guard. As anytime you see a coach call a timeout at the snap on what obviously looked like a pass play, Lance used a couple of timeouts in the first half. Chris used 2 of his in the first half. This will be the first timeout from either team, either half. 50-32 is our score. Clint Thurman with 4 touchdowns. Patrick Daniels with 2. And Ethan Moriarty with a 26-yard reception in the second quarter. Look at his numbers. Ethan, 22 catches, 308 yards on the season. That is his second touchdown of the year. Clint Thurman will pick up touchdowns 9, 10, and 11. The wind evidently has picked up.
That's what I was fixing to say. I'm hearing some rumbling.
Either that or somebody's playing the bass drum right under our crowd mic. But we're looking at the flag right now, and the flag is blowing directly north and at a pretty good pace. Now, this was in our forecast. We were going to get pretty windy conditions throughout the day tomorrow and Sunday with a bit of a storm system rolling in Monday afternoon, but they did say the winds were going to be whipping for a while tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. Dual receivers to the left, 3rd and 8. Deere going to roll out, got a couple of men behind him. He's going to throw deep down the near sideline and well short of his intended receiver. And Jake Kerbo was absolutely all over Deere, as Miles Miller as well, and we got a flag down. And Dusty is pretty sure it's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct. This may be a knock out of bounds late after that pass. These officials again will have a party right at midfield, or right in the middle of the field at the 37-yard line. They will all huddle up, and now referee Jerry Maynard will come near the press box, and we'll see if we can pick up his call.
Man, I could make so many jokes about it.
I know. Well, the flag's in the middle of the field. Okay. All right, so our regular, Dusty says evidently somebody was jawing, and then the other, whoever was the jawee, got jawed at, and they're just going to.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, the offsetting is just, and now unsportsmanlike conduct, I guess it still goes on record as unsportsmanlike, so if you get a couple of those, you get to sit down. So you got to log it, but it'll force Perry Cole, who's been playing defense all night as well.
Perry's going, where's it going this time?
I'm telling you, Perry, who also plays D-end, he has no idea where this snap is going to go. But he is a good 15 yards. Snap is high, but it's not high enough. Perry Cole gets a good kick. It'll be taken at the 24-yard line and fair caught right there by Christian Weidman at the 24-yard line. So finally a regular punt for the Wildcats.
You know, that's the first time I've seen a punt nearly turnover this year. So many teams this, now do that rugby and try to go end over end.
Yeah, and it's that thing I think we all dislike about the art of punting. Now, a year ago, and Dusty will attest to this, and 2 years ago, Sam Peterson was a heck of a punter.
Was he a regular punter?
Straight up, or there were times he would take off running, but when he side kicked it, it went just as far as if he was straight kicking it. Sam was a fantastic kicker. He had a rough time back and forth in 2020, but last year, Sam got fantastic and improved his punting throughout the year. Caleb Hart with a pickup of about 5, maybe 6. They're going to move him to the 29-yard line. 5 yards again by Caleb Hart. 5'10", 170-pound sophomore who got a chance to come up because absent of a junior varsity game this week, Lindale Eagles brought up 4 JV players in Aiden Warnell, Caleb Hart, and Christian Petway. Jeremiah Bloomsma came up a week ago. 6 foot, 215-pound tight end and linebacker combo. And Lance Angel was able to bring up 5 sophomores from the junior varsity to play on his roster tonight. 2nd and 6 from the 31-yard line. Handoff. Hart hurdles a tackler, and that is not Hart. Crossing the 35 up to the 36-yard line. It is Caleb Hart. Missed those pink arms the first couple of times he carried the football. As he picks up for the Lindale first down, picks up an extra 6 up to the 36-yard line. They'll give him 7 on the carry.
He just about broke that for the distance. He was tripping a little bit. If he could have got a foot up underneath him, he could have went for a long yardage.
Yeah, and he got the wide side of the field also. And boy, if you're gonna take your time on a run, and Lindale offense is now starting to work as much of this play clock as they can. 6:41 to go in this ball game. Lindale with a 50-32 lead. Hand off to Hart again, this time off the left side. And Hart gets stopped after a gain of 2. I guess it's like bringing in some part-timers at a work situation to cover a full-timer on vacation. The part-timers are getting a lot more time now. Yes, Patrick Daniels has not been back there the last couple of series.
Well, they've had so many injuries at the or things go wrong at the running back. They know that Patrick Daniels can run with the ball. Now they're trying to find them somebody that can play back there also.
Well, Patrick Daniels had a couple of touchdowns in this football game a year ago. Clint Thurman had one to his credit. Thurman's going to keep it. Right tackle crosses the 40-yard line, and Thurman up to the 42. He'll pick up an extra 5. And Palestine's Shedrick Dudley trying his best to see if he might be able to draw a little late hit penalty there. That time his theatrics went unnoticed by the headline judge, Jonathan Galt. 3rd down and a short 3, and they're going to use as much of this play clock as possible, taking their time, taking a look at the sideline. As now with 10 on the play clock, 3 different coaches call a play. Snap back, handoff once again to Caleb Hart. Caleb picks up the first down for Lindale across the 45 to the 48-yard line. They'll move the chains again.
Lindale was in a huddle that last time. We don't see that much.
No. Well, just once I'd like to, and we've seen Palestine in a huddle most of the night, but just very few teams anymore will set up in a huddle situation. And Lindale set them up with the clock rolling at 5-4, maybe make that 4:45 to go, as they are using as much clock as possible. Palestine started this football game off with a 5.5-minute opening drive and took a 6-0 lead after the missed extra point. Snap back, Hart with the catch, with the handoff, and immediately he's brought down from the legs down by a player we don't have on the roster.
Nope, number 57.
I got to see if maybe Lance got his updated roster in on the program, which I think I gave the other one away.
I got one right here. Number 57 is not on there.
Okay. Well, the late additions, Coach Angel had emailed them, but I'd already made copies of the regular roster, and for some dumb reason, I didn't replace these.
Very uncommon for a Class 4A not to have a JV game.
Well, like I said, he's had so many injuries, and I think they were down to 15 players. Snap back. Clint Thurman looked like he was waiting to hand off to somebody. He breaks it loose. 30, 25, 20. Knocked out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Clint looked like almost it was a busted play, and he turned a busted play into a huge gain and a first down for Lindale.
Yeah, Shedrick Dudley was able to chase him down for Palestine. I think Clint thought, what? I'm going to turn this into some more yardage. How many yards he got?
Thurman with a 29-yard pickup again. Thurman may be approaching 300 yards right now.
Was it 2 weeks ago that he had 400 yards passing?
Yes. Well, it's a 1st and 10 situation for the Lindale Eagles at the Palestine 16-yard line. Lone setback is Patrick Daniels. Hands off to Daniels going wide side, 15, 10, 5. Turns it up, looking for the pylon. He hits it. No touchdown mark yet, even though he knocked down the pylon. And they're going to say he actually stepped out at the half-yard line. Well, the linesman, I have no idea, was all the way back at the line of scrimmage. The linesman on the far sideline was not even following the play.
I was thinking, where's the official?
And we're looking, and there's going to be a flag down. All right, there we go. Well, that's why right there. Flag comes down back at the line of scrimmage, and this one's coming back. Well, it was so unusual because the linesman was not following Patrick Daniels down the field and then marked him down at the half-yard line. And they'll pull it back as they've got a hold against the Lindale offense. Well, Daniels was about to pick up his 3rd touchdown of the night. And it'll be coming back for the second half penalty against the Lindale Eagles. Unfortunately, it's a 10-yard mark-off, spot of the foul back at the 29, make that 24-yard line. Thurman comes into the huddle, the Lindale huddle, and they break it out. With Moriarty split out wide to the right field, wide left on the wide side of the field. Hand off to Daniels, straight up the middle. Patrick Daniels picks up minimal yardage up to the 22. They'll give him 2 on the carry. So with 3:08 clock continuing to roll. And I have a feeling that Eric Estrada, the junior center and defensive tackle, is worn out. It took him forever to get up off the turf just now. So do not go out on the field after the game.
I don't know where you put it this time. We can hear it pretty good.
Exactly. 2:37 to go. Snap back. Thurman hands off to Daniels. No, Thurman's going to keep it himself. Clint Thurman, I don't think anybody knew he had the football. Crossing the 10-yard line inside the 10 to the 8. Well, they got to get Eric Estrada off the field. He can barely get up. He's now walking his way back and just trudging his way back, and it's not Estrada at all. Never mind, that's going to be Cameron Taylor. So maybe Cameron Taylor the whole time. Looked like 50, it's number 60. So Clint Thurman with another huge gain. We'll get you his numbers here in just a second, as he's got to be approaching 300 yards. Minute 58, clock continues to roll, and Lindale with a 50-32 lead over Palestine. Thurman with Daniels in front of him. Hurdles a tackler. Clint Thurman across the 5 into the end zone. Clint Thurman for the touchdown. He has got 5 on the night, all on the ground. Well, Thurman scored 5 on the ground, and he's thrown one to Moriarty. With a minute 45 to go, Lindale breaks this one open 56-32.
Well, again, if you watch him run with the ball, he's got his shoulder pads forward, and he's not going to go down easy, and that enables him to get some extra yardage.
Well, Thurman has actually scored the last 4 touchdowns for the Eagles. Snap is up. It's good. Seth Baggett with the touchdown, extra point, and they blown the whistle. This may got a penalty. This may be against the defense.
Yeah, with that run right there, Thurman is 19 carries, 305 yards. Wow.
Well, it's been a Jordan Jenkins 2 years ago since the last time we saw somebody gain that many yards on the ground. Thurman with over 300 yards on the ground. Minute 45 to go, 57-32, Lindale Eagles. When we come back, Lindale Eagle football continues with OnTheCall.net.
A showroom almost as big as a football field. Really? Office Barn in Tyler.
A ridiculous amount of inventory at Office Barn. New and gently used office furniture.
More desks than the Pentagon.
Any style of desk imaginable. Desk as low as $50.
Office chairs.
Over 1,000 chairs in stock of all kinds from $20 to $2,000.
Conference room tables.
Biggest selection of new and used conference tables we've had in a long time.
Low cubicle prices.
Really stylish cubicles and workstations with space planning, delivery, and install.
Office Barn in Tyler.
We ship anywhere with next day delivery in East Texas. Buy it in the box and save even more. Discounts for nonprofits, veterans, and first responders.
Between Tyler and Lindale on Highway 69. Across from the big American flag.
Call or text us. It's the same number, 903-881-0340.
Office Barn in Tyler.
Office Barn.
Back at Eagle Stadium tonight, Kenny Smith, Alan Phillips, Dusty Swope sitting in for the absent Stuart Campion. And we thank everybody for sticking around with us tonight on a Friday night, which is going to see Seth Baggett kick it off from the Palestine 45-yard line. Obviously, that was a late unsportsmanlike conduct that we may have missed. It had to be unsportsmanlike. It was a 15-yard mark-off on the kickoff. So Lindale will try to kick it off to Palestine from the 45-yard line. It'll be a two-step kick for Seth Baggett. With a minute 45 to go, and Lindale putting up 57 right now. And kick is taken short at the 19-yard line. And after breaking a couple of tackles, Palestine Wildcat will get pummeled by a few blue jerseys. That'll be Caden Patton, who decided to somehow return that kick with blue jerseys all around him.
Well, Ethan Moriarty is the one that made the tackle.
That's a great call, Alan.
Yeah. Ain't much for me to say down here sometimes.
Well, with a minute 39 to go, the Lindale Eagles obviously incredibly happy, not only with this result, the points they were able to put up. Palestine, who put up 55 a week ago against Jacksonville, and what turned out to be a fantastic back-and-forth affair with a 55-52 win over the Indians a week ago. But, boy, the once again, the hurdles that the Wildcats have had to clear just in the last 3 weeks. As in that Kilgore game back on September 23rd, Lance Angel lost 5 of his 11 defensive players. That run was taken, by the way, by a number that we don't have on the roster, Dusty.
Well, I have some numbers on the tackle because Wyatt Parker and Brady Bowman made the tackle. And it was a buck sweep.
Yeah, number 8 ran that.
I'm
guessing these are the JVs that they moved up.
Yes. Yeah, and this is not Lance Angel's fault at all, y'all. Every once in a while, coaches will add guys to the roster, and they won't let the broadcasters know. But, no, Lance Angel sent me an updated roster yesterday, late last night, and I printed it off, and it's probably still on my printer at the house. So my apologies, because we absolutely, it's marquee for us to give everybody credit that needs credit, and we can't do it tonight.
Yeah, I did the same thing with mine. I didn't do the Lindale.
Oh, you didn't do the updated Lindale roster?
No, but you didn't send me the updated Palestine roster.
You know, I'm not here for this season. Y'all just completely fall apart.
Exactly. I know. I'm telling you, man.
I'm going to have to start calling you every week, Kenny. Get your stuff in order.
They have fallen by the wayside this week, I'm telling you.
Stuart, you're going to have to step up your game, buddy.
We got updated rosters from both coaches, and we don't even have them on hand. Palestine with the final snap of the ball game, and Hudson Deer, and boy, that time, and now they're going to just have to calm everybody down. Flags are flying all over the field. As we know for Palestine, it's going to be, and I think it's either Ryan Betts or Levi Thornton got hung up with Caden Patton, and Caden is having nothing from anybody right now. As Caden already showed a little extra activity at the kick return, and this time he gets hooked up with Levi Thornton, and Patton comes up with an extra shove of Levi, and Levi unfortunately decided to shove him back, and that was the third and fourth flags that came in on the play. And that was supposed to be the last play of the game, as Hudson Deer was trying to take a knee to end this ball game, and then tempers flared. The Palestine offense has gone back out onto the field as if they're about to run another play. Lindale defense came sprinting off as if the game was over. And now the officials, I think, are going to call the defense back out to finish this game.
It looks like the officials over talking to Coach Cochran. He's going, what's going on here,
Well,
man?
I think they're trying to explain to Coach Cochran that unfortunately for the Eagles, Hudson Deer was trying to end this football game. He took the snap and took a knee, but because of the surge of the Lindale defense, it knocked some offensive linemen back. It's hard to take a knee when you're taking the ball under center, Alan, if it's not a situation where you think it's coming. It's basically hard to kind of blame the defense. But that was a fourth down play, and they were trying to end the football game, and unfortunately, taking the knee to end the ball game turns the ball back over to Lindale. So we will have to stay here for 13 more seconds and watch Lindale and Clint Thurman take a knee and take a loss of 8 yards, which may run his rushing total back underneath 300 yards. It's one of those hard things. They'll take the snap. Thurman will take a knee at the 36-yard line, and the Lindale Eagles will pick up the win tonight and move their record to 5-4 on the season.
He was able to knee the ball at 5 yards, so he's at 300 even.
Okay, all right. Just making sure he gets that 3 double O's. They set up in the handshake line, and the Lindale Eagles will take their district win number 3. 57-32 win over the Palestine Wildcats. When we come back, we will total things out for you coming next. You're listening to Lindale Eagle Football with OnTheCall.net.
You come for the food and you stay for the experience. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, a mile off Interstate 20 on FM 849 in Lindale. Come hungry because the barbecue portions are generous and the atmosphere is the best in East Texas, including live music on the stage in Hackberry Hall. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House combines great barbecue, craft beers, signature cocktails, and live music for a one-of-a-kind experience. Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, 15338 FM 849 in Lindale, and on the web at brisketlovetx.com.
Backing the Lindale Football Eagles now as he did back then. Eagle Chiropractic is owned and operated by former Lindale Eagles center, Dr. Shane Allen. A class of 1989 graduate, Dr. Allen is an expert in chiropractic and nutritional health counseling. His expertise in these areas assists him in helping patients reduce and even eliminate migraine headaches, neck pain, back pain, and joint pain of all levels, both acute and chronic. Eagle Chiropractic offers therapeutic exercises, nutritional supplements, and analgesic creams, along with educational consultations and follow-up to assure continued support and confidence in a healthy lifestyle that is pain-free. Eagle Chiropractic, Highway 69 in Lindale, open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturdays. Call for an appointment and consultation at 903-881-5172. Eagle Chiropractic, making people better every day.
If you're looking to advance and improve your baseball or softball skills and overall game with the hopes of moving on to the next level, Marucci Elite East Texas is the premier select organization to do just that. Hi folks, I'm Derek Kraft, current minor league pitcher for the New York Yankees and coach for Marucci Elite. Head coaches Mike Holichuk and Jeff Casey take over 35 years of coaching experience to the field each year, showcasing East Texas's finest baseball and softball talent. Marucci Elite East Texas has proven itself to be the best at directly focusing on player development and the recruitment of its athletes. You can follow them anytime and learn more about Marucci Elite East Texas through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at METXETX. That's METXETX for Marucci Elite East Texas.
It's like moving from an old office into a brand new office. Trade up your current office furniture to brand new furniture from Office Barn in Tyler.
Office Barn buys new and used furniture by the truckloads.
We will also upgrade the look of your office by exchanging your current furniture for new digs.
Maximize your office space with our space planning services, including field measurement, design, and a 3D diagram. Office Barn can even reconfigure existing cubicles for office space.
More desks than the Pentagon. 1,000 plus chairs. Conference room tables, lobby furniture, storage cabinets, cubicles.
I'm John Longcrier. We ship anywhere with next day delivery in East Texas. Buy it in the box and save even more. Discounts for nonprofits, veterans, and first responders. Plus, office moving done right the first time.
Between Lindale and Tyler on Highway 69, across from the big American flag.
You name it, OB stocks it.
Office Barn.
The summer of 2022 has been tough on everyone, especially those that were without a top-performing HVAC system. Rose City Air was created by Will Decker and Heath Willingham after they experienced plenty of too little, too late scenarios, with two objectives in mind: service and educate consumers on the most efficient ways to maintain a healthy AC unit correctly the first time and eliminate the anxiety of second and third opinions and repairs. Rose City Air takes the time to show you the complexities of maintaining a top-notch HVAC system while the estimate and assessment is being done. Rose City Air's free estimates, 24-hour no-hassle emergency services, low-cost maintenance agreements, and discounts for veterans, first responders, and educators are why Rose City Air wants to service your home or business whenever the need arises. 903-630-4343 or go to rosecityairtx.com.
You know that old saying that a man's number one job is to protect his family? Well, that's exactly what my dad had in mind when he founded Beeler Roofing in the late 1970s. Well, now it's 2022 and it's still the backbone of why Beeler Roofing continues to take care of families and businesses' new roofs, full roof replacements, and even simple roof repairs. We still welcome a good old personal phone call to set up a free roof assessment, and we take a lot of pride and enjoyment from making our customers feel better about being home. Plus, we can even help you navigate the insurance process. This is Brooks Beeler, Lindale class 1989, and very proud to support your Lindale Eagles again this year. Find us on the web at BeelerRoofing.com or call us at 903-347-8484. Beeler Roofing, our family protecting your family from the top down for over 40 years.
Alford's Tire Brake and Alignment is going all in with the 2022 Lindale Eagles. Safety first is not only common sense when it comes to your transportation, it should be the top priority anytime it comes to the overall protection of your family. Safety checks on your basic brake and tire conditions or need for maintenance on your AC system is paramount during the heat of a 2022 summer. Offers Tire Brake and Alignment puts the entire family name behind making sure you stay stress-free on the road year-round. You'll find tire replacements for all size tires, even lawn mowers. Lift kits and auto accessories are installed right there, and in some cases, while you wait. Offers Tire Brake and Alignment, Highway 69, 4 miles south of I-20 in Tyler. OffordsBrakeandAlignment.com.
Hey, Doc Deason here, Lindale class of 1990 with Real Edge Real Estate in Tyler. You can find me online at DocDeasonRealEstate.com. You know, after this summer, anything associated with fall is going to be welcome throughout the season, especially Lindale High School football. It's an honor for me to again partner with my friend of 30 years, your play-by-play man, Kenny Smith. There's nothing in this country quite like Texas high school football, and you need to know we're partaking in a legendary pastime right now. But when the game's over, if you need some help with real estate, give me a shout. Don't hesitate. 903-262-8680. That's 262-8680. Again, I'm fellow Eagle Doc Deason. Thanks for listening.
Back at Eagle Stadium, final home game for the Lindale Eagles and for the seniors. They are taking it all in on the field right now as it's pictures all over the place with coaches and parents and everybody trotting out on the field, family-wise anyway, even though, they warned them, don't get on the field after the game. No spectators, just families and everything. Alan, obviously a great performance. Clint Thurman had a massive amount of yards. Dusty will update us on the numbers here in a couple of minutes, but obviously Dusty will give us the numbers, but defense gave up a few more yards, a couple of big plays, but all in all, after your conversation with Roselle, is he going to be happy at the end of the game? Knowing the result is a lot different from a week ago anyway.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna they bounced back. They played hard. They still gave up, I think, a total of 311 yards on offense. And their average in district is 430 yards after playing Kilgore and playing Chapel Hill. So did a little bit better. They had a couple of big plays tonight. They're just going to have to get better. Like I said, they need to get their confidence back.
Yeah.
I think tonight did that. They were able to shut them down a couple times, and defensively they made some adjustments that helped them out. And so I think Roselle's going to be happy. I think the team's going to be happy. I know Roselle probably just like any other defensive coach didn't give anything up. But
sure.
In today's time, it's just hard not to have the days when you give up 100 yards offense.
All right, well, let's go to the turnovers, too, because you can't give those up. They had 3 against Kilgore, 2 last week against Chapel Hill. They give up 2 turnovers today, but this time it didn't hurt them. Those 2 games, it cost them points. This time it didn't hurt them. Is that a factor at all with a team that's now got 7 turnovers last 3 games?
Yeah, they always talk about turnovers as plus or minuses. I guarantee on their board they're having plus or minus, and they have not been, they have not had a very good season as far as turnovers. They're not getting any. And, to be a really – and don't take this wrong because I think they're a good defensive team. But
because just like you said, plus and minus, they just haven't been able to get the pluses to go get the turnover and turn that into points too.
Yes, they're not getting those in scoring. They're not scoring much on defense, and you want that to happen. But I think tonight is, like I said, starting out, I thought the most important thing is that they need to get their confidence back, and I think they did that tonight.
Yep.
I think that's the most important thing, and then next week they can build on that. They'll have a week off after that, because they're going to make the playoffs because they're going to win next week.
Sure.
And they'll have a week off after that, and then they'll be ready to play.
Okay. Finally, too, the tackles for loss situation. That's the thing that really does help with that confidence thing. It's not stopping drives so much as it's making the big plays on defense. If you can't do it turnover-wise, tackles for loss are huge.
Yes, and that's a big deal in those TFLs is how they put them in as tackle for losses. And they did have some of those tonight.
Yes.
We saw quite a few of those, and that helps with the confidence for the individual players. As the team wants to be able to stop it, give the ball back to the court, to the offense, and they did that. They gave up a few, a little bit more yards than they probably wanted to. But I think their confidence got up in this game. They were able to play some young players that came up off the JV.
Yeah.
So the number one thing like I said, coming in this game, I was writing notes to myself. They got to have more confidence. They got to play better. They're going to have to play a different defense, a different offense in that wing T. And I thought they did very well of not seeing that all year because that's a different offense than having all this, throw it all over the place. And I think they did a pretty good job of stopping that. I think Coach Roselle is going to be happy because his team did, his defense did. He they did come back and play. He just didn't lay down.
Yep, good job tonight, man. Dusty Swope, let's look at some numbers, man, and obviously some of your final thoughts are always deep as they are.
Well, I was going to touch on what Alan was just talking about on the tackles for loss. They had 7 tonight for 40 yards.
Okay.
So, that's I haven't got to see them play this year, but from hearing what y'all are talking about, that's good.
Substantial.
Substantial,
especially what they've seen the last 3 weeks.
So, but Palestine was led by Elijah Walker. He had 18 carries, 167 yards with 3 touchdowns. Passing game, Hudson Deere was 5 for 9 for 135 yards. They had 311 yards total offense. So the first half they had 242. Second, for the whole game, 311. So the defense come back and they played a lot better. But we'll go back to what you were talking about, the big plays. If they had 2 big plays for 147 yards, one was 83, one was 64. So if you take those away,
you got about 150 yards there.
164 yards. So I think that's where Roselle would want to be, about 150, 175 yards to be competitive. Especially in the playoffs.
Well, I guarantee you, as a defensive coordinator, you don't want that many.
No, well, I get it, but it beats 311.
No, you're right. You're
or
exactly
like they did last week, a lot more than that.
Okay, so 311 total yards for Palestine tonight.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Patrick Daniels tonight was 14 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. Clint Thurman, I tell you what, if I seen this kid walking down the hall, I'd say this guy plays tennis. I wouldn't say that he's a football player.
Matter of fact, I think Alan said that one time, probably weeks ago, because seriously, Clint Thurman has got this bright personality, and he comes across completely unassuming and incredibly humble. So it's really entertaining for us to watch this kid and how he succeeds on this football field.
I'm telling you, I went up to him and said, hi, my name's Alan Phillips. I help with the radio. And yes, sir, no, sir. He looked like a tennis player, like you said, or an actor.
Right.
He's a good-looking kid. I'm thinking, this kid's an actor.
Yeah.
He's acting like a quarterback, but he's gotten a lot better than
a lot of fun.
Yeah, he proves different on the football field. He 20 carries tonight for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Caleb Hart, the little sophomore that come up, 13 carries, 65 yards. They had 431 yards on the ground.
Wow.
Passing game, Thurman was 12 for 16 for 169 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Marcus Field, 1 catch for 14. Patrick Daniels, 1 catch for 14. Evan, you're going to have to help me with this name. Moriarty, 2 catches for 79 yards. And Alex Romero, 3 catches for 55. They were 600 yards even.
Good gracious. Okay, Matt Cochran's going to be happy. That guy's having pizza tonight. Extra pepperonis on his pizza, probably.
Anchovies.
Yeah, and anchovies. Okay, good job tonight, Dusty.
Well, I appreciate you having me
back.
Good
to have you back.
And, Stuart, if you have another wedding to go to in Washington, I'll be glad to come back. Maybe playoff time I can come back and,
Yeah, we may do that. We may have a
four headset.
Yeah, numbers off or something. You guys have a little. Oh, yeah, no, we don't need 4 headsets. No.
Numbers off?
Yeah.
Numbers off.
We don't need you guys both on a headset, man. Absolutely not. All right, guys, we'll see you all in Jacksonville next weekend. Next Friday nights, we will be in Jacksonville. It'll be the final game of the regular season for the Lindale Eagles as they are very close to wrapping up with a possible third-place finish in this district if they can hang on for another week. Final score tonight, Lindale Eagles 57, Palestine 32. For Alan Phillips and Dusty Swope and the absent Stuart Camping, we say goodnight from Eagle Stadium with all of us here at onthecall.net.
Tonight's broadcast of Lindale Eagles football is brought to you by Rose City Air, Ironworks Web Design, Alford's Tire, Brisket Love Barbecue and Ice House, Root Construction, Eagle Chiropractic, Beeler Roofing, Marucci Elite East Texas, The Office Barn, and Doc Deason Real Edge Real Estate. Copies of tonight's game broadcast at onthecall.net. And all 2022 season games can be purchased from onthecall.net at any time the day after each game. OnTheCall.net and its supporters encourage all fans to make every opportunity to become involved in any child's education, enrichment, or any extracurricular activity they have a passion for. Thank you for joining us for Lindale Eagle football with OnTheCall.net, streaming East Texas high school sports one game at a time.
Kilgore was so damn strong and huge. Their defensive line